There is a lot going on today in Death Valley, where the third-ranked Clemson Tigers host the Pittsburgh Panthers on a glorious late November afternoon. It's Military Appreciation Day, a tradition since 1994 here at Clemson, which was founded as a military school in the late 1800s. And it is Senior Day, the final home game for two players Dabo Swinney calls generational talents, Travis Etienne and Trevor Lawrence. Etienne, the all-time leading rusher in ACC history. Lawrence, the Heisman Trophy front runner, almost certain to be the top pick in next year's NFL draft. Emotional as they run down the hill for the final time. You're watching college football presented by PlayStation 5, and this is the ACC on ESPN. And welcome everybody. Sean McDonough along with Todd Blackledge, joined shortly by Todd McShay. Delighted to have you with us as we get a look at the Clemson Tigers for the first time in 3 weeks since their only loss this season at Notre Dame. They had a week off after that, then didn't play last week at Florida State because of COVID. And their quarterback, Trevor Lawrence, had COVID. He missed the two prior games, so we haven't seen him in 5 weeks.
Yeah, I don't think there's anybody more anxious to get on the field than Trevor Lawrence. It was October 24th when he last played, but I don't expect any rust in him, Sean. He's a guy, this will be his 33rd start. He's got a beautiful throwing motion, great arm strength, was completing over 70% of his passes before he had to sit down. But the other thing I think he brings back to this Clemson offense is his running ability. He is a very gifted runner, has great speed, and he will open things up for everybody else in this offense, most notably his backfield mate, running back Travis Etienne.
Who, as we mentioned, is the all-time leading rusher in conference history. One of the great players, certainly, of this generation. The rushing numbers are down, but the total offense numbers are up.
Yeah, he's averaging over 140 yards a game total offense because they're really utilizing him as a receiver. They throw it to him out of the backfield. He has 37 catches in 8 games, which is the same amount as he had all season. They'll even put him as a wide receiver some and let him run wide receiver routes. He has really blossomed in this part of his game, becoming a complete running back, catching the ball out of the backfield or in different spots and really posing a threat to any defense because of his breakaway speed when he catches the football.
More than 20 seniors playing in their final home game, although many of them have the option to return next season. We mentioned Military Appreciation Day. There's Justin Ross, who would have been playing in his junior year as a terrific wide receiver, out this season after spinal surgery. The good news is he is progressing very well and might be able to resume his football career. His mom, Sheree Franklin, gave birth to Justin when she was 16 years old. When she graduated from high school, he was 2. She said, "I need to support my son." She enlisted in the Navy, did 2 tours through 2005, then joined the Alabama National Guard. She was actually in Kuwait in August of 2016 when Justin came here and fell in love with Clemson. The Panthers and the Tigers in an important game here in Death Valley. The kickoff in a moment.
The highest profile name in college football, Trevor Lawrence, tested positive.
You just have to have the next guy ready to go.
Down he goes! Notre Dame has done it. They have knocked off Clemson.
I feel just as good as I did when I left. Just getting back in the swing of things, but I'm feeling really good.
You know what you're going to get from 16. There's no doubt about that.
The last time Pitt came here to Clemson, November of 2016, the Panthers 21-point underdogs. They pull off the upset on the 48-yard field goal by Chris Blue. With 6 seconds to go. 43-42, the Panthers the winner. That was the last time these people witnessed a Clemson loss in this stadium. They have not lost since. 27 wins in a row, longest home winning streak in school history and the longest active streak in the country. one of the most memorable games in recent college football history, and down on the field for that one was our own Todd McShay.
That was, Sean. It was a great game to watch. Two things really stood out. First of all, Pitt came out. They didn't have any interest in body blows. They had haymakers on offense. They were aggressive. The second thing is Nate Peterman played the best game of his life. I think that's what's going to have to happen for Kenny Pickett if Pitt is going to wind up being in this game for 4 quarters. I think he's the most underrated quarterback in the country, and here's why. He can layer the ball. He knows what defenses are trying to do, and if you get out of position, he is going to attack, and he's going to find that weak spot. The other thing is he's mobile. He knows where pressure's coming from. He can escape it, and he can throw rolling to his left, as you see here, and to his right. He's going to have a huge game with an offensive line that's beat up against a Clemson defense that is right on track to have the most sacks in school history.
Pickett is a senior. He does have a year of eligibility left, but they believe, and he indicated to us in our chat on Wednesday, it's probably his last college season. And Trevor Lawrence told us the same thing. There had been some speculation a few weeks ago. Maybe he didn't want to go to the NFL in part because he didn't want to play for the Jets. He was talking like a young man who was playing in his final home game today.
Yep. And what a fun guy he's been to watch. And I'm excited to watch Kenny Pickett today. I really am. I mean, Pitt is a completely different football team with number 8 behind center than the one we saw a few weeks ago.
Yeah, they're 5-2 with him as their starting quarterback, and the 2 losses were both by 1 point. Clemson won the toss and deferred, so Pitt chose to receive the opening kickoff. And here's touchback machine B.T. Potter blasting one through the back of the end zone. That's his 53rd touchback in 58 kickoffs. So here comes Pickett. As we mentioned, 5-2. They're 5-4 for the year. 1-point losses against NC State and Boston College. And despite missing 2 games, still more than 2,000 passing yards and 17 touchdowns, for which he is responsible. Good size, 6'2", 220. And as the 2 Todds have already indicated, a guy who can hurt you both passing and running.
He's got a lot of games under his belt as a starter, very similar to Trevor Lawrence in that way, and I think it affects the whole team. This
is his 34th career start. New Jersey native gives it to DJ Turner, and he runs out of bounds with a 3-yard gain. DJ Turner off an amazing performance last week in their home win against Virginia Tech. That was their senior day. He had 15 catches, 1 shy of the Pittsburgh single-game all-time record held by Harry Orzelak against Penn State in the late 60s. Did you play in that game?
No, I did not.
A little after your time. So 1968. Pass intended for Shockey Jacques Louis. Mario Goodrich had the coverage. And the Panthers welcome back their leading receiver, the true freshman Jordan Addison, who did not play against the Hokies last week because of COVID concerns.
Yeah, and I'm excited to see what Mark Whipple, offensive coordinator, does with both of those slot receivers in the game together, Turner and Addison.
Clemson loves to bring pressure. These are 2 defenses that attack, and they attack Pickett and take him down. Back at the 15, Trenton Simpson, the true freshman who has really emerged in the last couple of games.
Well, you see the speed. Here's Simpson. He's going to come right here. This offensive line is shuffled around. New right guard Blake Zabovic's going to get kind of turned around. They don't bring extra people, but they get that right guard starting his 2nd game out of position and get the early sack on Pickett.
Well, that could be a big story as Kirk Christodoulou, the Australian, comes on to punt. It's the 2nd week in a row that Pitt is without 3 starting offensive linemen. That group played very well last week, won 47-14 against Virginia Tech, but this is a menacing attacking defense that inexperienced line will have to deal with today. Amari Rogers, the fair catch after a 46-yard punt. And here comes Trevor Lawrence, junior in terms of football eligibility. He's just in his 3rd year, but he's a senior academically. 31-1. His career record as a starter, the only loss, of course, in last season's national championship game against LSU. You know, I win today, he'd be tied for the most wins ever by a starting quarterback at Clemson. Rodney Williams, Taj Boyd, and Deshaun Watson. He comes out firing, and behind E.J. Williams. He's wearing the number 39 today instead of his number 6 because it's Military Appreciation Day. His dad was a military man, the late Eddie Williams, and died at the age of 39. So he has to wear 39 today. Lawrence is everything you'd want, including the size, 6'6", 220. Gives it to Etienne, who's to the 45-yard line. That'll bring up 3rd down and 3.
Very manageable 3rd down. Again, the combination of Etienne and Lawrence in the running game, I think, is going to open things up for Travis today. Now, this Pitt defense is outstanding. Numerically or statistically, one of the best in the country, particularly at rushing the quarterback.
You talked about Etienne as a pass catcher. They've got him split out wide now.
Short set by Lawrence over the middle and batted down by Chase Pine, the middle linebacker. They were trying for a quick hitter to Amari Rogers.
Now, Rogers has had a great year this year, has really stepped up. Here's Pine right here. The middle linebacker is going to do a nice job of reading the route and then cutting underneath it, knocking it away with his left hand. So a good stop by both defenses. Again, two of the best defenses not only in the conference but in the country, particularly in terms of creating negative plays or mayhem type plays.
DJ Turner looking into the bright sunshine. We've done games here where that has been an issue at this time of the day for punt returners. Will Spires, 5th-year senior, having his best season, just did get it off. And Turner makes a fair catch at the 14-yard line.
Clemson defensive coordinator Brent Venables, one of the best in the business in his years here, and he had this to say about Kenny Pickett. A great example of what development looks like. Saw him in the ACC championship game. He's a completely different player now. When they faced him in 2018, they held Pittsburgh to 8 yards passing in that football game, and Kenny Pickett has just grown and developed incredibly as a starting quarterback.
That was the last time these two schools met in Charlotte, the 2018 ACC title game won by Clemson, 42-10 on its way to the national championship. On the delay, Vincent Davis gets about 6. They couldn't run the ball at all earlier in the season, but the last 2 weeks in big wins, 40-plus points against Florida State and Virginia Tech, 150 yards a game.
Yeah, much better production, and again, having number 8 behind center has opened up a lot of things.
He comes out firing to the near sideline and incomplete for Jordan Addison.
Ball was a little bit behind Addison, and Joseph Charleston, who was starting at safety for the injured Landon Sanders, was there to make the play and knock the ball away.
Sanders, talented sophomore. They wouldn't disclose why he's out, but it looked like he banged up a shoulder in that game against Notre Dame. The ball's deflected and intercepted. Malcolm Green picks it off and brings it back inside the 20-yard line.
Well, I think it was Tyler Davis. Welcome back to this Clemson defense. He's been out for several games. One of the leaders on the inside. Number 13 is going to be the guy that loops in there and gets a hand on the football. Watch 13, Tyler Davis, come on the stunt, gets the hand up and knocks the ball away. And the first turnover of the game belongs to the Clemson Tigers.
It's the first career interception for the true freshman Malcolm Green. Richmond, Virginia. From the 16-yard line, great chance for the Tigers to take the early lead. Etienne, the running back. Amari Rogers could not break a tackle from Damar Hamlin, one of the best safeties in the country and the leader of that Pittsburgh defense.
1 yard pickup, going to be 2nd and 9.
Pretty good.
Yeah, that's pretty good. Never thrown an interception in the red zone. And more touchdowns than incomplete passes. Etienne bounces off some hits. It's another thing that has happened over his career. He's gotten stronger and stronger. He's down to the 5. It's 1st and goal.
Well, that was the backup safety, Brandon Hill, number 9, who had to fill in. He was unblocked. But you better bring it to tackle Travis Etienne. Now, at this point in his career, so many more yards after the contact.
Lawrence hit as he throws to the corner of the end zone. It's caught by E.J. Williams for a touchdown. And there is a flag down.
I think it was a late hit on Trevor Lawrence as well. Not going to matter. Going to decline that penalty and take the touchdown.
There's no foul for roughing the passer. He only plays a touchdown.
Marcus Woods, our referee today.
There's no foul. No foul on the play.
Ball was gone. It was Cam Bright that was coming on the blitz. Kind of glad they picked that flag up, but an accurate throw nonetheless. Give your guy a chance to go vertical to make the play.
Ruling on the field is a touchdown. A previous play is under further review.
Progressive pylon Cam. We're going to take another look at it, but good work by E.J. Williams, working on A.J. Woods.
If anyone was worried about rust with Trevor Lawrence, you saw right there. I mean, the timing, getting the ball out, and just placing it exactly where it needed to be.
Our producer Josh Hoffman tells us the replay booth stopped it not to ascertain whether or not that was a catch in bounds with possession for the touchdown by Williams, but they're checking out the hit on Lawrence, probably looking for targeting. I mentioned Marcus Woods is the referee. Replay official is Larry Malum.
Well, I think that would be a very flimsy call if they call targeting on that. But what a great throw. And we talked at the very top, you know, Trevor Lawrence, even though he hasn't played since October 24th, he's practiced. Confirmed as in no flag for late hit.
I think the touchdown and no flag.
Right. But Trevor Lawrence, even though he hasn't played since October 24th, the last couple weeks he's been practicing. Last week it was a full game prep. They were actually in Tallahassee when the game was canceled or postponed. So he's ready to play. And again, this is his 33rd start as the quarterback here at Clemson. And a good start in this one for him today.
And the first career touchdown catch for E.J. Williams. They think he has, in the words of Dabo Swinney, superstar type talent from the same hometown as Justin Ross. The extra point good off the foot of B.T. Potter. So the interception, Pickett's pass deflected and hauled in by Malcolm Green, leads to the first points of the game. Friends, as a reminder, you can watch today's game in 4K on DirecTV, Optimum, and Xfinity as part of the Samsung QLED 4K Game of the Week.
An important drive coming up for Kenny Pickett and the Pitt offense. They can't afford to get too far behind. His first game back against Florida State, they fell behind 14-3, came back and won, but this is a different animal with the Clemson Tigers.
Potter, another touchback. That's redundant. A lot of pressure on that offensive line. The new starters for the second week in a row, with Hoy, Cradle, and Warren out. They have a combined 49 career starts. Their replacements: Carson Van Lin at right tackle, number 59, Matt Gonzalez at left tackle, 76, Blake Zubovic, right guard, number 68. Have 4 combined starts, and 3 of those were last week. That was, of course, entering today. A.J. Davis carries for 3.
Well, the glue up there is the center, Jimmy Morrissey, the longtime starter. He's about as healthy as he's been, and he really is the signal caller, directs a lot of the protections, and he's a guy all those new players will be leaning on mightily today.
Came as a walk-on. He's a 2-time team captain. The short pass incomplete. Trying to get it to Jordan Addison with Nolan Turner in coverage.
And the problem for Pitt is Clemson knows that they can't protect. So everything's short game, and all the corners and DBs are squatting on these short throws. It's going to be interesting to see what Mark Whipple, the offensive coordinator, does to try to counter this and get creative.
3rd down and 7. Pressure comes. Pickett has time, and it's over the head of his intended receiver. It was Trey Tipton.
Well, we talk about the protection. This is a pretty good job. Now, they're going to bring pressure, but watch this offensive line and the backs do a nice job of giving Kenny Pickett time. They pick up the blitz. He steps up, and the defender never turned to find the ball, just not able to make the connection with Tipton. That's a pretty good throw against tight coverage, but another punt situation for the Panthers.
Amari Rodgers back deep for the punt from Kirk Christodoulou. A bomb back to the 18, making a fair catch. Amari Rodgers. Back to the studio we go. Hello, Kevin Nagandi.
Punt by Kirk Christodoulou. Traveled 53 yards. Tigers will take over at the 19-yard line.
All right, Kevin. 52-yard punt on a windless day. And how about this day?
Oh,
Thanksgiving weekend. It is 67 degrees and barely a cloud in the sky overhead. Some trickery. The shovel ahead to Rodgers. He broke a couple of tackles. Looks like he was able to shed a face mask as well. And he has a 1st down to the 37-yard line. No flag on the play.
You see one of the real strengths of Amari Rodgers is his ability to have running back skills after the catch. Now, this is just a little toss, but you're not going to bring him down with arm tackles. He's a strong, built very low to the ground, and gets a lot of extra yardage.
And he wasn't face masked. Looked like they just got him by the shoulder pads and spun him a bit. Lawrence given a lot of time. Open man, and it is caught. What a courageous catch by E.J. Williams. He had to know he would get belted, and he did. It was Eric Hallett who lost his helmet while delivering the hit.
Well, we talked about this Pitt pass rush. They're held out a lot of time. E.J. Williams just finds a crease down the middle of that defense. Knows he's going to get hit by Hallett. Hangs on to the football. 2 big catches in the ball game for E.J. Williams.
Hallett's been playing for Paris Ford, who opted out after they got hammered by Notre Dame. Lynn J. Dixon, the stand-in for ETN, gets a couple on his first carry.
Well, see that kind of catch going vertical, extending his body. That's what has the coaches so excited and thinking he reminds them of Justin Ross. 6'3", 190 pounds, same hometown, same kind of body control and ball skills.
That generates a lot of trust, too, for your quarterback.
Lawrence throws while stepping forward, and it was on target. It was just dropped by Braden Galloway. Excellent tight end, part of what Coach Sweeney calls the best tight end group that he's had in his 13 seasons as head coach here.
So far this season, 34 catches for that tight end group, much more than the last 2 seasons. And Galloway kind of leads the charge of the tight ends.
Third down and 8. They are in field goal range for B.T. Potter. Lawrence again managed to sidestep the rush, buy more time. Short throw, but it's out of bounds. Again intended for Galloway.
I'll tell you what, I love these 2 defensive ends for Pitt. Rashad Weaver and Patrick Jones. Watch Jones now. Watch him hustle on this play. He leads the team in sacks. He doesn't get to the quarterback, but watch the hustle and chasing Trevor Lawrence. Lawrence has to settle for that throwaway because of the hustle play by Patrick Jones.
Will Sweeney to hold.
So here's B.T. Potter having an excellent year, 14 out of 18. Both of these kickers in this game, Potter and Alex Kessman with Pitt, have very strong legs. Yeah, that's a 9-iron for Potter. Good from 46 yards. So a fast start for Clemson in its first action in 3 weeks.
College football on ABC is presented by PlayStation 5. Play has no limits. And in part by Duluth Trading Company. Tough, ingenious workwear designed and tested by tradesmen.
This game was not canceled because of COVID. COVID was just an excuse to cancel the game.
Football coaches are not doctors, and some of us might think that that we are, but there's a reason why those advisors and are able to make the decisions from the information that is provided.
You know, I've been in this league 18 years. I've been the head coach here 12. All right, they've had 3 head coaches in 4 years. I'm not going to worry about advice from Tallahassee. I trust the people here, and I trust our doctors. 100%.
Well, we mentioned a couple of times Clemson hasn't played in 3 weeks. As you could tell, Dabo Swinney very disappointed when they didn't play last week in Tallahassee against Florida State. The game was called off just a couple of hours before the scheduled kickoff when a Clemson player tested positive for COVID-19, a test that was taken the day before on Friday before the team left for Tallahassee. BT Potter kicks off. Clemson leading Pitt 10-0. And obviously it was a contentious back and forth, and it was really Dabo who kept it going. We spoke with him on Wednesday on a Zoom call, and he was even more fired up than then. Very upset that the game didn't get played.
Yeah, he was. And, you know, it's one of those, it's been such a weird year, right? And so many strange scenarios. And you can understand what happened from both sides, really. You know, and I thought when we heard Dabo's side of it and some of the facts that he pointed out and felt like they had followed all the protocol correctly, the game should have been played. But you understand there's more than one side to every story.
Flea flicker into double coverage, and Pickett's pass is intercepted by Andrew Booth. Second interception in the first 6 minutes of this one, thrown by Pickett.
Well, Andrew Booth is right here. And watch, as he drifts back, his eyes are on the quarterback. This is zone coverage. And so once he sees he has no threat in his deep part of the field, he just reads the quarterback and goes, and he becomes like a free safety and makes the play in the middle of the field. That wasn't necessarily his coverage responsibility. The guy in coverage was Tyler Venables, the freshman safety. But in this case, the corner became the safety and got the interception. Well done by Andrew Booth.
Second interception of his sophomore season. Lawrence after the run fake. Out wide to Amari Rogers, who gets slammed down by Damar Hamlin. It's a gain of 5.
I tell you, I love watching Damar Hamlin play. I think he's one of the best players in college football. He's a little undersized as a safety at 6'1", 195, but he's fearless, and he's a great tackler. I mean, you know he can cover, and in this defense, they asked their safeties to play a lot of man coverage, but it's his reckless and fearlessness in the run game that impresses me.
Lawrence has a man open. It's Cornell Powell having a terrific season as a fifth-year senior. That's his 32nd catch of the year. He had a total of 40 through his first 4 years in the program entering this year.
Yeah, really amazing to see. And really, you know, they've had injury issues at wide receiver, and to see the way that Powell and Amari Rogers have stepped up this season has been outstanding for this Clemson offense.
There's no Justin Ross this year. He's been outstanding. The last 2 years they had T. Higgins, who's gone on to the NFL. Powell waited his turn behind some outstanding players. ETN out of bounds at the Pittsburgh 43-yard line.
Well, they've got a couple young guys, and Frank Ladson, number 2 there, Joseph Ngata, number 10, that they really have high hopes for, but have just not been able to play a lot so far this year.
Ladson out with a foot injury. Ngata had minor surgical procedure.
And with Ross, T. Higgins, and DeAndre Overton, they lost 2,400 receiving yards from a year ago.
By the way, Ngata had an abdominal issue That's why, if you don't have abs, you don't have to
boy.
worry about it. They're going to try their own flea flicker, and this one's going to work for a touchdown. Lawrence to Cornell Powell.
Well, we mentioned DeMar Hamlin is a lockdown safety, but the other safety right here, Brandon Hill, watch him come in on the run fake and leave the middle of the field empty. He's coming in, Cornell Powell runs right by him, and that's his coverage responsibility. He's in there because Paris Ford opted out. He's a young, talented guy, but he got beat on this play. His eyes were in the wrong place, and Trevor Lawrence made him pay.
Pittsburgh's aggressive on defense. They play a lot of man-to-man. A lot of times there's just some people wide open. Cornell Powell, the touchdown, his 4th of the year. Playoff rankings out earlier this week. Here's our All-State playoff predictor. The playoff predictor giving Alabama 94% chance of being in the Final Four, the national semifinals. Notre Dame with the win yesterday against North Carolina moved from 59% to 72%. That also brought Clemson up because it was a resume enhancer for the ACC. They went from 34 to 44%.
Ohio State not playing today.
They still went up 2%. With the game canceled.
Play the fewest number of games and not playing today and still rising.
Another touchback for Potter.
I still think if Clemson beats Notre Dame in a close game, both teams should be in.
I think that would happen too.
Yep.
We showed you what was the top 6 in the rankings that came out, but these are the 6 teams with the best chance according to the All-State playoff predictor. Now, I would ask the All-State playoff predictor, whoever he or she is, or it is, I assume it's a robot of some kind. Did they see the show the other night? BYU's number 14.
Right.
The committee's not putting them in.
No.
They could be 52-0. It doesn't look like they're going to get in, which may or may not be fair, but it's the reality. Pickett hit as he threw, got dumped to the turf, and it's an incomplete pass for DJ Turner.
Yeah, that was Simpson again coming on the pressure, unblocked, and he should not have been unaccounted for. That's a hit on the quarterback that was unnecessary. They're just struggling to make a first down right now to get something going positively.
Yeah, they don't have a first down. This is their 5th possession. They've run 11 plays. They've turned it over twice. Shockey Jacques Louis paid the price. The whistles were blowing before the ball came out as the play had been stopped, and it'll be the first Pittsburgh first down of the game, and Jacques Louis is not going to get up. Pat Narduzzi, the Pittsburgh head coach, across the field to look at his wide receiver.
We were on the field as the runners forward progress was stopped. First down.
Saw James Skalski, the linebacker, back in there. That's great news for Clemson. Just as Trevor Lawrence is the quarterback of the offense, Coach Sweeney said Skalski is the quarterback of our defense. Missed some time, missed 4 games for sports hernia surgery, and Jacques Louis runs off to a very polite round of applause from these great Clemson fans. About 19,000 of them allowed to be in attendance today.
I'll tell you what, being on the field, you can always tell the difference with some of the defense and just the cracking of the pads. This Clemson team is playing hard defensively. They're rallying to the ball and they are finishing.
Now, this is an angry, hungry football team, that didn't get to play last week and is out to avenge their loss to Notre Dame and prove what they are. And there's another pick.
And that's off the hands of Jared Wayne. You have to put that one on him. Mario Goodrich intercepts.
Now, this is the receiver all the way. Just a lack of concentration. It's a well-thrown ball by Pickett, a little high, but certainly catchable. And Goodrich with the interception. And when we talked to Pat Narduzzi, he was lamenting about the losses to Miami and Notre Dame, talking about giving the short field to our defense. Our defense played really well, but you put them in a bind 3 times in both of those games. Here's the second short field that Clemson has against this Pitt defense because of turnover.
And how about the freshman, Brian Brzee, number 11? The pressure that he got really created that turnover.
First interception of the year for the junior from Kansas City, Missouri. Goodrich, Lawrence, acrobatic catch. Ball thrown behind Amari Rogers, but he hauled it in at the 18-yard line.
Well, it's thrown behind because Servassier Dennis is going to get great pressure, and Lawrence just has to unload the football. But what about the adjustment in the air by Amari Rogers?
I was standing right here, Todd, and I couldn't believe that he was able to stop his body, get back, and make that catch.
The players we spoke with Nolan Turner Wednesday, talk about the work ethic of Rogers.
Substitution, offense, 12-minute formation, 5-yard penalty, first down.
He's the guy who's always out here after practice, catching extra passes, and he has brought a lot of those players along with him to get extra work done. And when you put that kind of time in, that's the result.
Yeah. Put the same kind of time in to come back from a torn ACL in record time. Played last year with a brace.
A 17-yard gain. The penalty took them to the 23. A 2-yard run for Travis Etienne to the 21. Kalijah Cansey made the tackle with Deslin Alexander.
And we talked about the combination of Cornell Powell and Amari Rogers. Rogers had 30 catches last year, playing almost exclusively in the slot. This year they're moving him all over the field, and he's got 48 catches coming into the ball game today. So just a huge season for him.
Etienne got stood up inside the 10 and a yard shy of the first down by Eric Hallett and Jason Pinnock.
Travis Etienne running hard. You know, his last time out against Notre Dame, one of his worst outings in terms of running the football. Notre Dame and BC, the last two opponents, very clear their philosophy defensively. We are not going to allow 9 to beat us as a runner. We're going to stop the run and put the ball in the hands of a freshman quarterback.
28 yards rushing on 18 carries against the Irish, worst since his freshman season. Lawrence faked the toss and took it down to the 4. It'll be 2nd and goal. Clemson already up 17-0, less than 10 minutes in.
Brandon Hill brought the wood there on Trevor Lawrence.
Well, he's a big target. You know, he's 6'6", 220 pounds. There's a lot of surface to hit when he runs like that, inside in particular.
Ruling on the field is a first down. The previous play is under further review.
Apparently they're going to take a look at it for a possible targeting call. Well, Todd McShay mentioned Brandon Hill, the big hit, and that might not have been a legal hit. Let's welcome in our good friend from his palatial estate somewhere in the Midwest, Bill Lamonier. Good afternoon, Bill.
Gentlemen, good afternoon to you guys. Good to be back with you. The hit on the quarterback here, there is a crown of the helmet hit, but I see him in a wrap-up position. I don't see him attacking and trying to lead with the helmet. To me, this is just incidental.
And Bill, isn't it, it's worth noting, isn't it different that when Trevor Lawrence is running the football, he becomes a different type of player. He's no longer a defenseless player either, correct?
That's correct. So it has to be a crown of the helmet, dipping the head down, using that as your main forcible attack point. And I don't see that. I can understand replay taking a look at it, but I don't have this as targeting.
And based on your explanation, I think we agree. Todd and I agree. But when you see it replayed, and you could hear the crowd oohing and ahhing a couple of times as they saw it replayed, it looks bad, but not illegal.
I'm very envious of Bill right now getting to wear a hoodie during the broadcast. I mean, I wear a hoodie about 6 days a week, you know, and it's my favorite comfort wear. And Bill looks very comfortable at home working with us today.
I had to be, Todd. I got off an airplane this morning, got on an airplane at 6 in the morning to come back from North Carolina. So I'm trying to chill out here.
Attaboy.
It's good to have you. Good to have you with us.
I just think he's trying to hide those extra Thanksgiving pounds.
Could be.
Are we all?
We're wasting Bill's movie star good looks today, too, by not having him on camera. I know we're trying to save some money. It's a budgetary issue.
After further review, targeting, defense, number 9.
Oh, wow.
Number 9 is disqualified. Half the distance to the goal, first down.
Well, it's an unfortunate penalty for Pitt for a couple reasons. Number one, they're already a little bit down at that safety position. Brandon Hill, the starter today. Eric Hallett will come back into that role alongside of DeMar Hamlin. But as we discussed, I mean, you could have seen it going the other way also.
Whatever Billy Lemon says, that's what I go with. ETN, another touchdown.
Touchdown.
From 2 yards.
Behind up.
And so far, at least, no shades of 4 years ago when Pittsburgh comes to Clemson.
No. Boy, Jordan McFadden, the right tackle, with just an incredible block. I mean, these two tackles, McFadden and Jackson Carman, the left tackle, outstanding.
Potter, the extra point. ETN's now rushed for a touchdown in each of his last 7 games. He has scored at least 1 touchdown in 44 of his 52 career games. No other player in college football history has scored in 44 different games, a touchdown that is. All-time leader in rushing touchdowns, yards from scrimmage, and scrimmage touchdowns in the ACC. Broke the record of Ted Brown, NC State, that had lasted a couple
What
of
I love is the fact that he came back and he's playing. I mean, with all of these guys opting out, he got a 2nd-round grade by the NFL Advisory Committee, and that wasn't good enough for him. He wanted to come back, get bigger, stronger, improve his pass protection, and improve as a receiver, which he's done all of those things. And now he's going to be a 1st-round pick. I think he's the #1 running back in this upcoming draft class.
Wow. I love what he's become as a receiver. I mean, his first 2 years, he only had 17 receptions. And he had 37 last year in 15 games. And he's got that many coming into this game in 8 games. So he has just really taken every part of his game to the next level, and that work has paid off.
38 catches this year. Potter must be getting leg weary already. 4:55 to go in the opening quarter. Another touchback. Tonight, 7 p.m., the team that was number 5 in the first installment of the college football playoff rankings, Texas A&M against LSU. Rivalry that's become a little feisty in recent years. 7 Eastern time on ESPN and the ESPN app. A&M playing for the first time in 21 days due to COVID issues. 18 more games canceled around the country today. Pickett on target to Jordan Addison, spun back at the 31-yard line, a gain of 6.
So interesting for me to watch what Clemson has become defensively with Brent Venables, and it all depends on the personnel. A couple years ago, they had those 4 defensive linemen that were all NFL. They were strictly a 4-down team. They don't play that way anymore.
Pressure with a 4-man rush, and Pickett did well to scramble back near the line of scrimmage, trying to scamper away from Niles Pinckney.
Primarily now they are a 3-man look. That doesn't mean they'll rush only 3, but they line up with 3 defensive linemen. They bring linebackers, they bring safeties. They've become much more of a blitz package team to create the problems they do defensively, and it's all based on the personnel that they have.
Four-man rush again, short pass, and it's a loss. DJ Turner dumped by James Skalski, who said during the week he hoped he could play about 20 plays today on his way back from that sports hernia surgery.
Showed quick recognition on that play. He was lined up like he was going to blitz. Here he is right here. And then he drops, keeps his eyes on the quarterback, picks up the crossing route underneath, and makes the sure tackle.
Christodoulou just did get the punt off. Another high hanger and a fair catch made by Amari Rogers. Reagan Upshaw almost blocked the punt of 50 yards. Here's the Cheez-It Crunch Time, brought to you, ironically enough, by Cheez-It.
Well, pressure forcing the ball out by Kenny Pickett. We got a deflection by Tyler Davis. That led to the first interception in short field. Then the flea flicker, they thought they'd fool him. It did not fool Andrew Booth, who came over and got the interception. And here's the third one. Off the tip pass. You don't put that one on the quarterback, but the bottom line is Clemson has capitalized on the mistakes of the Pitt offense.
They scored touchdowns after all 3 interceptions. Flag before the snap.
False start. Offense, number 65. 5-yard penalty, first down.
The left guard, Matt Bockhorst, one of 4 first-year starters on that offensive line. Only returning starter, the left tackle Jackson Carman. They lost 4 seniors to graduation from an excellent offensive line that went to the national championship game last year. Amari Rogers trying to run away from Damar Hamlin. He managed to cross the 30. And it is a first down, chased out by Marquez Williams, a cornerback.
And when you go back and chart, and this is quite a matchup, 3-on-3, but when you go back and chart how Clemson is using Amari Rogers, you see the stiff arm there, they move him left and right, slot or outside. A very different role this year for Amari Rogers.
5 catches for him in his opening quarter, 53 for the year. Men wide open everywhere. This is Brandon Spector into Pittsburgh territory at the 42-yard line. 23-yard gain. That is already the 3rd pass play of 20 yards plus given up by Pittsburgh in this opening quarter. Kirk Herbstreit mentioned it on game day this morning. They came in having given up 32 pass plays on the year of 20 yards or more.
Well, in all 4 losses that Pitt had this year was against the 4 best quarterbacks that they faced, and they all had good numbers. And this guy here is the best they've seen yet.
Lawrence with single coverage, fires for Powell, who makes the catch along the sideline. Running step for step with Jason Pinnock. It's first down, Clemson at the 17.
Beautiful job by Powell going up, strong hands. He goes up and high points the ball over Pinnock. That's pretty good coverage, but just a nice effort by Cornell Powell. He's trying to get over 100 yards for the 3rd game in the row, which would be another tie a school record. Just what a great year for him in his 5th year as a senior.
You did some work while
I tried
having that turkey and stuffing, a lot of other things. Lynn J. Dixon inside the 10. Cam Bright the stop for Pitt. We're down to 1:20 to go. In a very impressive quarter for Clemson, and another disaster for Pitt against a top 5 opponent. They got blasted by Notre Dame when Notre Dame was number 3. They met earlier this year. Lynn J. Dixon first and goal as he advances to the 2-yard line, perhaps the 3. Patrick Jones made the stop for Pitt. They'll put it actually on the 4.
Clemson going with some tempo. Pitt trying to substitute some of their defensive linemen.
Lynn J. Dixon bounces off a hit. No signal of a touchdown. They're going to mark him down just short. Rashad Weaver the tackle. Dixon thought he got there. Officials say no.
I mean, this Pitt defense has already been on the field for 26 plays in the first quarter. We're not even out of the first quarter yet.
You saw Dixon and Lawrence signaling touchdown. They looked up at the big screen in the end zone that they are heading toward, right at the top of the hill in which they run at the beginning of the game. Crowd keeps waiting for the inevitable replay stoppage to call it a touchdown. There is none. And that's just a formality. Lynn J. Dixon makes it 30-0 in the first quarter with a 1-yard touchdown, his first of the year.
A really nice job on the right side. Watch Will Putman, the right guard, get a nice block here. And the right tackle, he's in there at this play, is a true freshman, Walker Parks, number 64. Like that hole open up. 56 and 64 doing their job in there, and Lynn J. Dixon, the easy touchdown.
And Parks, the freshman tackle, Dabo told us earlier this year he's going to be great.
Yeah.
They have a lot of talent. They've recruited so well throughout the Dabo Sweeney era. And as a result, they've won 2 national titles, 5 straight outright ACC championships, and perhaps on a collision course with Notre Dame to play for another ACC title.
It was interesting, you know, one of our colleagues who wasn't able to join us this week, she was supposed to be here, Molly McGrath, talked to James Skalski earlier in the week. And one of the things that James Skalski said was when he was on the sideline of that Notre Dame game and the game ended and the fans rushed the field in South Bend, that he and Trevor Lawrence kind of looked at each other and said, we need to get another shot at these guys.
With
and that's
them
where they're heading.
In uniform.
Yes.
Instead of watching from the sideline. Well, this is Clemson's highest scoring first quarter ever. 31 points. I wonder what the record for touchbacks in a quarter is by a kicker. We may be looking at that too. Here's Kevin Nagandi. I imagine, Kevin, there are closer games somewhere else than this one.
Wow.
Yeah, we were there for Northwestern's win against Wisconsin. They were feeling quite good about themselves. Had a little fun with that. Joey Galloway's comments, calling them the Fighting Reese Davises. Here's Vincent Davis on what will be the last play of a quarter that cannot end soon enough. By the way, I texted Reese Davis the other day, said, as someone who's seen you in a gym, they don't know what I know. Reese is a tremendous athlete. And a tremendous slouch. No, wait a minute. ESPN's college football on ABC will return after this message and a word from our ABC stations. This season, for every field goal and extra point made by participating universities, Allstate will make a general scholarship fund contribution to the participating university. Thank you, Allstate. Read that wrong. Hope I somewhat rescued it. Military Appreciation Day on the campus of Clemson University. It's a wonderful tradition. Of course, traditionally, Todd, this is the weekend where they have their non-conference in-state battle against South Carolina.
That's right.
Which had been played for 111 consecutive years, but the SEC decided this year no non-conference games because of COVID. I think Pittsburgh is wishing it was South Carolina that was here today instead of them. Kenny Pickett throws on target. Jared Wayne upended by Tyler Venables, one of the 2 sons of Brent Venables and his wife Julie. Both of the sons are on this Clemson football team.
Yeah, both have played really well. I mean, Jake Venables had to play a lot because of the injury to Skalski, and Tyler Venables, a true freshman, was a talented high school quarterback, can really run. Obviously understands the defense too.
Pickett under duress again and taken down by Tyler Davis. They certainly missed him when he was out. Fred Davis came on a blitz to help the cause.
Well, these 2 guys in here, Brzee and Davis, they have not really been able to play together much of the year at all. But you have those 2 guys on the inside. They are both so disruptive.
There's Brzee again.
Taking down A.J. Davis, who got the carry on a draw.
They have 2 true freshmen in Brzee and Miles Murphy that from day one, we had them in the opener against Wake Forest, and those 2 guys were part of the regular rotation. And they play like grown men. They don't play like true freshmen learning the ropes.
Pickett had to pull it down, chased from behind, throws over the head of DJ Turner, who looked like he wanted no part of catching that ball as it came near him. Maybe he knew it was just too high all along.
But right now, Clemson obviously playing coverage. That's why Kenny Pickett didn't get to throw the football from the pocket, had to leave the pocket. 3-man rush, dropping 8. Long yardage situation. Very difficult for any quarterback to operate in. This guy's been busy.
He's been the star of the first half for Pitt.
Him punting and B.J. Potter kicking it out of the end zone. They're kind of battling each other.
Will take over at the 21.
Mari Rogers, fair catch, 39-yard punt. Trevor Lawrence tested positive for COVID in late October, has not played in 5 weeks. They went 1-1 without him. They had to rally from 18 down to beat Boston College. Lost in double overtime at Notre Dame. Then an off week that was scheduled. Then the cancellation at Florida State last week. So here he is, showing no signs of rust. ETN, nice patience. We talked to Pat Narduzzi yesterday. He said, it's ridiculous to me that Trevor Lawrence was the Heisman Trophy frontrunner. He gets sick, and there's a lot of people getting sick.
Right.
And all of a sudden, he's not the best player in the country anymore. Right. I mean, there are others who are having great years, but
he's the best player in college
the best
football.
player in the country, and Pat Narduzzi, and Todd McShay,
and me,
and Todd Blackledge. It's Trevor Lawrence.
Yeah, he's still the best player in college football. And you know, I just loved talking to him earlier this week.
Whoa!
It looked like holding. Like a little grab of the jersey to knock that ball away.
Is there not a flag there?
By Marquez Williams.
There has to be a flag, does it there?
I mean, that's a grab and a yank and a pull. And yeah, that's pass interference if I've ever seen it. Not called, I guess 31-0. They're not going to make that call.
3rd down and 6. Lawrence under pressure. They brought extra men and got there. Led by Patrick Jones, the defensive end, 5th-year senior out of Chesapeake, Virginia, who was all conference a year ago.
And Travis Etienne has done a much better job this year and has been more consistent in pass protection. But there, I thought he could have done a better job, really. He just kind of got in the way instead of really getting aggressive and squaring up.
Yeah, and Patrick Jones with an incredible move to the inside, showing his quickness. But you're right, he could have done a better job blocking Philip Campbell, the linebacker, who came on the outside pressure.
Spires with a short punt. DJ Turner, they couldn't yank him down by the jersey. They do around the legs. Niles Pinckney made the tackle. So good field position. That's a positive for Pickett and the Panthers when we come back. College football presented by PlayStation 5.
Taco Bell's Nachos Party Pack. Delicious nachos topped with all your favorites. Only at Taco Bell.
That sounds good. On the shores of Lake Hartwell Memorial Stadium, the home of the Clemson Tigers. Since 1942, no senior class has ever gone through all 4 years undefeated at home. In Clemson football history, their 4-year seniors here today have a chance to achieve that, and you'd have to think they have an excellent shot at it. The way this one is going, Jordan Addison a gain of 3. Here's Kevin Nagandi. Here 31-0 Clemson, just the second snap in Clemson territory for Pitt. Low pass, and Vincent Davis couldn't scoop it off the grass. It'll be 3rd down and 8.
I was listening to Mark Whipple, the offensive coordinator, talk to Kenny Pickett, the quarterback for Pitt. And he was saying, you know, I get it, we're getting pressured, but we got to hit a go. Meaning we got to throw the ball down the field, we got to take a shot. And they just haven't had the time to do it so far.
They also told us, did Coach Whipple, that they wanted to play at a very fast tempo. They certainly haven't been able to get that established here today either. Pickett, who had surgery on his left ankle after he was injured at Boston College, shows that he's getting the speed back. He runs for a first down to the 22.
Yeah, the surgery on his left ankle. When he played his first game back against Pittsburgh, the coaches just wanted to try to get him through the game without getting hit. Really tried to take care of that ankle. He felt better last week against Virginia Tech, and he looked pretty good on that one. But Sean, to your point of wanting to play fast, the only way you can do that is you got to make some first downs. That was just the third first down of the game for Pittsburgh.
Trying to get it to Jordan Addison. Flags fly from everywhere. Anthony Williams had coverage for Clemson.
Holding. Defense number 20. 10-yard penalty. Automatic first down.
Number 3, Jordan Addison is the intended target. There's the reach in the pool. It's pretty obvious.
Narduzzi's screaming that they've been doing this all day.
I don't think this is one of those as a coach you're going to blame the officials after the game. If it stays like this. Pickett takes off running again. Scampers out at the 6-yard line. Kenny told us he had the same procedure that Tua Tagovailoa had a couple of years ago. They're Pickett's parents, Ken and Casey. Ken was an All-American linebacker at Shippensburg, is in their Hall of Fame. Casey played soccer at Kutztown, so Kenny has athletic genes. And he said, I wanted to come back faster than Tua did. He basically had ropes put into his ankle to kind of hold it together. He came back one day faster than Tua Tagovailoa did, according to Kenny. That's relying on his accuracy.
Tua was 27 days and he was 26 days. Right? The game within the game. Very competitive kid.
Pickett is buried with a flag down. Balin Spector. It's going to be against Pittsburgh. He's looking as the referee, Marcus Woods, at Dabo, and saying probably want to turn it down because of the sack.
Number 59, 10-yard penalty, second down.
Well, I guess not.
Well, so much pressure again. They've got you right. First of all, Charleston, the safety, he's going to come from here. Here's Spector. He's going to come unblocked on the inside. Kenny Pickett nowhere to go. Can't step up in the pocket when the pressure comes from inside. There's the penalty on Carson Van Lin, the right tackle.
Why did they take the penalty?
Correction. Clemson has decided to decline the penalty. It'll be third down.
Yeah, essentially would have been the same lost yardage, and the down counts now rather than replay the down with the penalty. So.
Right.
Well, sometimes these coaches, they love their stats. You know, when you led the nation in sacks since Brent Venables got here in 2012, you're proud of that sort of thing. But the right thing to do is turn it down the penalty.
They play so many guys on defense. I mean, they always do this in big games and in games they're blowing teams out like they're doing with Pitt. They rotate a lot of people through this defense. They keep guys engaged. You know, that's one way of keeping your players interested and informed and on top of their preparation.
And they can all play.
And they can all play. Yeah, you mentioned the recruiting earlier. Yeah. Nobody has recruited better than Clemson since Dabo Swinney has been the head coach.
Third down and 14. Jared Wayne chopped down short of the first down at the 5-yard line.
You know, sometimes we've talked to coaches, Sean, and they have said they get to backups and they say, well, this guy here, he's just a guy. You don't hear that about any of these Clemson players. They don't have any just guys.
Can I ask a
Backups
question?
would be starters on.
No, you got to go
for it, Todd.
That's your question.
What does 3 do for us?
Yeah, this, you know, 4th and 3. You're down by 31. You're going to kick a field goal. All right.
4-score game.
Get off the schneid there, but they're within 28. On a 23-yard field goal by Alex Kessman.
College football presented by PlayStation 5 on ABC is brought to you by Pacific Life. More than 150 years strong. Trust in your tomorrow.
23 players possibly playing in their final home game on senior day. If you're academically a senior, they gave you the option to run down the hill as well. Trevor Lawrence, academically a senior, football eligibility a junior, participated because this is almost certainly his final home game. The senior class trying to win its 28th straight home game and go undefeated over the last 4 years here at home. It'd be the first senior class to do that. This facility opened in 1942. Touchback from Alex Kessman. This senior class, as we mentioned, undefeated at home 3 times. The ACC champions. They won 5 straight outright. 3 appearances in the national championship game, and they won it all in 2018. Now in 2016, there are 9 players who are 5th-year seniors right now who were part of the program in 2016. They were here for that loss to Pitt during that national championship season. Lawrence airing it out deep, and Powell has it, and he's tripped up at the 5-yard line by A.J. Woods. There's a flag down near where Powell made the catch at the 25. You wonder if he was able to make it while he was being interfered with. He was.
Well, and for Powell, over 100 yards in receiving for the 3rd game in a row. Trevor Lawrence is giving his guy a chance, throwing it up there, letting him go and make the play again. Powell having a career year, 6 foot, 210 pound, 5th-year senior.
That was a career-long catch for him, 70 yards. Lawrence throws, and it's too hot to handle for a Joe. A freshman from the Edmonton, Alberta area. There's a flag down along the near sideline at the goal line. Right. Eligible man downfield, Pat Narduzzi being given the choice.
Thought one of the most interesting things that Trevor Lawrence told us the other day when we talked to him on the phone.
Offense number 54, 5-yard penalty, first down.
You know, he's a guy who has not missed many games in his career, high school, college. He's been a starter most of his life, but when he was out for that Notre Dame game and preparing, knowing he wasn't going to play, said he really got a great appreciation for what everybody else in that quarterback room goes through that's not starting. You know, and I think in the long run that'll actually pay dividends for him too, just in his understanding of the game, appreciation. If he is ever in that situation again, I don't anticipate he'll be a backup at the next level either.
No. Second and goal from the 8. Lawrence, a bullet.
Nice play by Hamlin again.
Intended for Davis Allen.
Hamlin's everywhere. I love watching him play.
Yeah.
I mean, he's physical. He'll play in the box. He can cover. He just has a nose for the football. He's one of those guys that I go back and study tape on and say, well, you know, maybe he's a mid-round pick, and start to elevate because of what he's done this year and how important he is in this scheme.
Yeah, he's fun to watch, and he plays so much bigger than his size would suggest too. He's fearless when he comes up in the run game.
3rd and goal from the 8. Design roll for Lawrence. Has to get rid of it. And it's incomplete. Mari Rogers had gotten out of the back of the end zone and came back in. Eric Hallett was there, and there is a flag down.
Again, that was Hamlin in single coverage on Amari Rogers.
And if they shoved him out of the end zone.
Defense number 3. The foul incurred in the end zone. The ball be placed at the 2-yard line. Automatic first down.
He's single coverage, and as Amari Roger goes to the corner, there's the contact. Ball's in the air, and that's why they called the penalty. Hamlin not aware the football was thrown when the contact was made.
Timeout. Pitt, they're first.
It's a Pitt defense that has already given up 5 pass plays of 20 yards or longer, and this the longest. Cornell Powell, a 70-yarder, while being interfered with. Wow. Back in Clemson, South Carolina, Tigers up 31-3 and have it first and goal at the Pitt 2, 8:10 to go first half. Lynn J. Dixon. The pile gets pushed. He kept driving. No signal yet of a touchdown. Now there is. Actually, it was Ches Malusi, the third string running back, that gets his first carry of the game.
Well, Malusi kind of got lost in there, and watch a couple of the linemen kind of fold over behind him and start just pushing towards the end zone. Pitt's trying to stand him up, and Malusi gets the ball into the end zone. Leg drive by a fresh back against a tired defense. Clemson in the end zone again.
Ruled on the field as a touchdown. The previous play is under further review.
Ches Malusi, another highly recruited player, 4-star recruit out of Naples, Florida, has battled some injuries.
Well, the only thing this could have been was forward progress called, because I don't think you can see that he touched the ground.
And I go back to the intent of replay when it came in a long time ago to correct obvious errors. You know, everybody singing the bar would say, wait a minute, that guy was out of bounds. Oh, yeah, we need to fix that. Is this the purpose of replay in a 37-3 game?
I don't think so.
Bill LeMonnier, I'm starting to get cranky. Rescue me from myself, my friend.
Well, I'm going to tell you, I go back to when replay came into college.
The ruling on the field stands.
Yeah.
When I came into when replay came into college football, I was still on the field. The replay rules were on an 8x11 sheet of paper, and it was actually called replay protocol. Now it's expanded into a rule, 240 casebook plays. I think it's gotten too complicated. I think we need to go to coaches' challenges for reviews. But
amen.
There was no need in this game here with the score the way it is to slow it down and stop the game.
Amen. Amen. Bill LeMonnier for president. Except I do not like the word protocol. I think most Americans dislike the word protocol.
We should be able to mitigate the situation better, though.
And by the way, this is a conference, not to have inside baseball or football here, that is asking us to speed it up going in and out of commercials. But then they take that minute of our lives for something that's completely meaningless.
Hey, Blackledge, you got your hands full in the second half, bud.
What's that, Todd?
You got your hands full in the second half.
Yes, I do. And I don't know who Blackledge is going to be working with next week after that little soliloquy, but I'm sure he or she will be wonderful. I'm just trying to speak for America, the football viewing public. Bill LeMonnier for president.
I think you represent America very well, Sean.
Very few things in life that I enjoy more than a wound-up McDonough.
5 touchdowns from 5 different players for Clemson. There's been a field goal as well. They've outgained Pitt 329-59. They're winning the turnover battle 3-0. Still 8 minutes to go in the half. B.T. Potter, another touchback. Here's Kevin Nagandi. 11, 12, 13. I don't think he made it under the 10-second wire. Nobody's watching that game. That's why Kevin keeps doing the cut-ins from it. Vincent Davis. Ooh, got stood up by Nolan Turner. Another one of those seniors. The story's been told often. Late scholarship offer by Dabo Sweeney. He's from Vestavia Hills, Alabama. His dad, Kevin, terrific player at Alabama. When Dabo gave him a scholarship, a lot of people said, oh, you're just giving a scholarship to your friend's son. And Kevin Turner was dying of ALS. I think Nolan Turner has proven all of the doubters wrong. He's become a staple the last few years of this team.
Yeah, he's just gotten better and better. You know, he played 31 snaps against Pitt in that ACC championship game a couple years ago. Of course, he had the big interception that sealed the victory against Ohio State last year in the Fiesta Bowl semifinal game.
Pickett forced to retreat again, finds some time. There's a flag down, thrown after Pickett had thrown the ball. It's a completion to Vincent Davis.
There's a face mask penalty on the right tackle.
Offense number 68. That penalty is declined. 4th down.
So frustrating because Pickett on the play before he started limping. He's been hit so many times today. He gets out of the pocket. There's no reason for the block in the back at that point. He's able to locate a receiver and would have had a first down. And you know, this offensive line with 3 starters out, they just have not been able to get the job done tonight.
Yeah, the penalty was on Zurkovic, but I actually thought the right tackle, Carson Van Lin, got away with a face mask penalty that they did not call.
First to Dulu, another punt. Boy, he's terrific. High hanger, 52 yards, and another fair catch from Amari Rogers.
ESPN, home of the college football playoff.
We're back in Clemson, South Carolina. It's time for the Aflac trivia question.
Aflac.
Is that you, Mr. Blackledge? Is the duck actually here? That sounded like you. When was the last time Clemson won or lost back-to-back games? Did I step on the duck? Travis Etienne carries. You or McShay want to cheat this week?
I didn't even hear the question. I was just laughing over the Aflac.
The last time they lost back-to-back games, back in 2011. They played 123 games now without losing 2 in a row. That's the longest active streak in the FBS and also the longest in ACC history. The conference was formed in 1953. Travis Etienne again out to the 22-yard line. Alabama 93 games in a row without losing back-to-back. Ohio State 87 straight. Both those streaks began in 2014. And it's quite possible all 3 of those teams will be in the college football playoff. Darian Rencher comes in now at running back for Clemson. 5th-year senior, team leader. They throw it to him out of the backfield. And he has the first down out to the 30.
You know, one thing, and he's not in the ball game now. Rencher came in for Travis Etienne, but one of the things I think is pretty interesting about Etienne, a lot of people wondering why he came back for his senior year. Todd already mentioned that he got a 2nd-round grade initially, wanted to improve on that, has done that. Continue this after this play.
Lawrence throws incomplete. Damar Hamlin had the coverage on Will Sweeney.
Will Sweeney, one of Dabo Sweeney's sons, also on the team. Pretty good position and coverage by Hamlin. But I think it's interesting, Sean, you know, you talk about running backs that they have a shelf life. They only have so many carries, you know, and that's why you see a lot of running backs go into the NFL maybe early.
Nice fake by Lawrence, but you wonder if that was deflected. Not his usual bullet over the middle, intended for a Joe.
I did a study on the last 10 years. There's no position that has more players leave early than running back.
Yeah, but I mean, here's the thing. Travis Etienne coming into this year, 518 career carries, are coming into this game. You compare that to a couple of the guys that got drafted in the first 2 rounds last year, like a Jonathan Taylor, it nowhere compares. I mean, he's got a lot of carries left because of the way they've used him throughout his career.
Screen for Rencher. He's down about 3 yards short of the first down.
But the thing he's done is going from the second round to the first round, you're talking about millions and millions of dollars. If he's the 25th overall pick, he's going to wind up making somewhere in $5 to $7 million in terms of his first contract in guaranteed money. Whereas if he was a second round pick, it would be closer to $2 million. Yeah. So he is making himself multiple millions of dollars. But it's a risk.
Will Spires punts. We're under 5 minutes to go in the half. DJ Turner makes a fair catch at the 25-yard line. You know, we talk about Travis Etienne, 2-time offensive player of the year in the ACC, the last Power 5 player to do that 3 years in a row is Herschel Walker. Don't know if he's going to do it this year.
Right.
When we talked to Pat Narduzzi, he said Trevor Lawrence is the best player in college football, and he said, but if I had a vote, I might vote for Etienne.
That's right.
He said they might be the 2 best players in the country on the same team.
Well, they both have just been so good at what they do. And with Etienne, you know, his run numbers are down, but his pass reception numbers have just been outstanding this year, and he still has a major impact on the game, no matter what he's doing running the football.
Jalen Barden the catch on first down for Pitt. The Etienne came into today the only player in the country with 600+ rushing yards, 400+ receiving yards, leading all FBS running backs in receiving yards. Pickett, then running for his life all day, throws it away.
Clemson just doing so many creative things defensively here. I mean, just different exotic blitzes, pretty much in a third down blitz package all the way out now. Because of the score on the scoreboard, Brent Venables able to just kind of have different people coming from different spots. That time Skalski showed like an inside blitz and then went to the outside, and then it was Brzee that forced him out of the pocket. But they've had Kenny Pickett on the run the entire night.
So much for Skalski only playing 20 plays.
Yeah.
He's at about 45 right now.
He told Molly McGrath during the week, 20-25 plays. Be what he would hope for. And now Pickett's going to use the timeout with the play clock down to 3.
Timeout. Pitt. Their second. 30-second timeout.
With 3:59 to go in the half. Time for today's hardest working player, brought to you by Duluth Trading Company.
Well, it's the entire Clemson defense so far in this first half. They've held Pittsburgh to 73 total yards, a lot of pressure on Kenny Pickett. We said if Pitt was going to have a chance today, it was going to have to be Kenny Pickett lighting them up. And he just has been on the run and uncomfortable from the very first possession. They picked him off 3 times. They pressured him all day. They made his uniform dirty, and they put him way behind on the scoreboard. And right now there is no threat of a running game, and it's all about Kenny Pickett just trying to throw the football against a very aggressive and fast Clemson defense.
Which has 3 sacks, a 15th straight game with multiple sacks, and 31 out of 32. Pass completed, a little bit behind Taysir Mack. Took it in for a first down. They're out to their own 44.
I'll tell you one thing, you cannot question his toughness, though. He is hanging in there.
They lined up like they might come after him.
Ball's
and now the ball's knocked out by Xavier Thomas, and Pittsburgh recovers.
Carson Van Lin was able to fall on the football. Xavier Thomas knocked it out. Nice move and stripped the ball out. Here he comes, number 3 from the top of the screen. Brzee coming from the other side. Hard to imagine if Mike Jones, number 6, didn't come up with that football for Clemson. It bounced right to him.
Still a loss of 10 on the play. Panthers on their own 34. Trying to establish a screen. And A.J. Davis did well to gain a couple. Swung down by Mario Goodrich, who has one of the 3 interceptions in this game for Clemson, each of which led to a touchdown.
We talked about Tyler Davis returning to this defense. What a beautiful play he made here reading the screen. I mean, he is one of their veteran guys. Number 13, he reads the screen immediately and is out there to stop it.
He's been the most consistently active defensive lineman for Clemson all day.
They're so happy to have him back.
He might have been tired. There's not much pass rush from him that time. DJ Turner over the middle and into Tiger territory to the 36-yard line. Joseph Charleston stopped an even bigger gain. That one went for 29.
We mentioned last week Turner with the huge game, 15 catches. His other big game was against North Carolina State. Same situation. Jordan Addison got hurt in that game. Turner stepped up in that ball game, had 186 yards worth of catches.
Pickett steps into that throw.
Wow, that looked like a good throw.
Well, that's twice in this game. Once by Turner and this one by Barden, where it looked like the Pitt receiver in traffic just didn't want to put his hands up and catch the ball, realizing they might get blasted. I mean, what is that?
Yeah, he pulled the hands back. I mean, I thought that was a pretty good throw. Tyler Venables was going to make contact. There's no question. The safety. But Pickett threw it where he's supposed to throw it.
Now, if you're the quarterback, do you have a tough time with that? If you're a teammate, do you have a tough time with that?
Well, if you're a quarterback, you lose a little trust on a play like that.
A.J. Davis. Skowski must be getting close to 20 snaps.
I think so. I think so.
Timeout. Clemson, their first 30-second timeout.
Well, does it count as a drop pass if technically you don't put your hands up and try to catch it?
I don't think it does, actually. Should, probably.
Well, you can't drop it if you don't try to catch it. That helps with that stat, I guess. Kick off your Week 12 NFL Sunday at 10 a.m. Eastern, the Countdown Crew on ESPN and the ESPN app. And then Monday Night Football caps the NFL week on ESPN, ESPN Deportes, and the ESPN app. The Seattle Seahawks and the Philadelphia Eagles Monday Night Countdown kicks off the coverage at 6. 7-3 for Russell Wilson, leading the NFL in touchdown passes with 30.
How about the Washington football team?
With Philly. Somebody has to win the NFC.
Someone has to.
East.
So if the Eagles win on Monday night, they're in the lead. But right now, the Washington football team is, which is just wild.
Eagles 3-6-1. And Carson Wentz, you would just wonder what his future is. He's not played well. He tried to blitz. They threw a screen to the other side. Nice call by Mark Whipple and well executed for a first down to the 25-yard line to Jordan Addison. Brzee the stop.
You see Addison's ability after the catch. And one thing Mark Whipple told us, the thing he loves about Addison and Turner as slot guys is they're not real small guys. They're both physical guys that can make plays after the catch.
Far sideline. A.J. Davis, 18-yard line. 2nd and 3 upcoming. Stay tuned for the Capital One halftime report. Kevin Nagandi, Booger McFarland, Mark Sanchez, ready to bring you up to date with all that's happening around college football today. Pickett toward the end zone, and is it caught? Yes!
Wow.
Jordan Addison, the touchdown. It looked like Joseph Charleston at the very least might bat it down, but he didn't. And Pitt has its first touchdown.
Watch the footwork by Addison. Unbelievable concentration and then keeping the feet in. He only needs one. He has both of them in. He's concentrating on making the catch, but he has the awareness of where his feet are also.
I'm standing 3 yards away from him. Charleston got his hand on the ball, so it redirected. He had to get his feet to die and then still get the focus to bring the ball in. That was an unbelievable catch.
Yeah, from the progressive pylon cam, we saw Charleston get a hand on the football. What concentration by Addison.
Your loyalty to the progressive pylon cam in recent weeks has been impressive. Basically
well, you called me out, a few weeks ago, and so I had to redeem myself.
Working hard in there.
Alex Kessman, the extra point. Terrific freshman season for Jordan Addison out of Frederick, Maryland. A lot of schools recruited him as a defensive back. He wanted to play wide receiver, and he has been a standout this year for Pitt.
He did a great job, first of all, shielding Charleston with his body, and then Pickett threw it in the right place to the outside. But you just see the body awareness, the route running, and the concentration on the end of this play. Progressive pylon cam again.
All right.
And then at the very end, to keep the ball high to show that he was bringing it down. I mean, you can't do a better job than that.
We asked Kenny Pickett, how long did it take you to realize this guy was going to be a star receiver? He said, about 1 day. The first day that we saw him running routes. And the thing about him is he's very savvy, very smart, football IQ. He does not make many mistakes. And that's the rarest thing for a true freshman, is that he just doesn't make mental mistakes.
55 catches for Addison, now leading the ACC. A touchback from Alex Kessman. Well, Trevor Lawrence, first action in 5 weeks. Last home game almost certainly here at Clemson. Has had a very solid day.
Yeah, 16-24, 296 yards and 2 touchdowns, showing no signs of rust. A little bit of everything, accuracy, staying in the pocket, the little flea flicker action here. And then the reads, and this is, you just aren't going to fool him anymore. I mean, he's seen everything. This is his 33rd start, and you're not going to fool Trevor Lawrence with coverage.
Look out. He is surrounded and sacked. Rashad Weaver there.
Really nice job by Weaver, just coming all the way around the horn. Here he is working on Jordan McFadden. Watch him come all the way around the pocket and then back to the quarterback. McFadden a little bit late getting to him, and again, these two defensive ends, Weaver and Patrick Jones, are as good as you're going to find in college football.
Each have a sack today, 2 allowed by Clemson. Long throw, Powell, they're going to give him the catch.
Boy, did Lawrence take a shot also. He took a real shot as he delivered this football. Still on target to Powell on the sideline. Pinnock thought he got pushed, and he might have been.
Yep.
That could have been offensive pass interference because the receiver created space for himself to make that catch.
But that throw, my goodness.
The throw under duress was unbelievable.
Is under further review.
To be able to place the ball where he placed it while taking a hit, and that's why he's special. That's why he's the #1 overall pick.
I mean, he knows he's going to get hit. He can't really step into it all the way, but he puts it in the right spot. My question is, did Powell step out of bounds before making the catch and come back in?
Well, let's bring in Bill LaMagna. Even if he did, can replay fix that, Bill? Because that wasn't the call by the officials on the field.
Replay can get involved in the call as long as there's no contact involved in the play. If there's contact and the receiver steps out of bounds, it's going to be the official's judgment about whether or not that contact put him out or didn't put him out. And most of the time, you'll give the benefit of the doubt to the receiver. So replay will only get involved if it's totally clear there was no contact and they have him stepping out.
What if the contact was the offensive player pushing the defensive player and then he stepped out? What do you say then?
You mean the offensive pass interference that wasn't involved there?
Exactly.
Yeah, and that one, his hands went on the back, and when you put your hands at the waist, you can really control the momentum of your opponent. So it doesn't take much to cause that separation, and there really should have been a flag here for OPI.
Well, if this stands and Trevor Lawrence throws for over 300 yards, it's something Clemson's never done. This is their 5th game in a row where they've thrown for over 300 yards. That's the first time in school history. You know, DJ Uiagalelei threw really well in the 2 games that he played against BC and at Notre Dame. And Trevor Lawrence averaging over 300 yards a game himself. But they have not run the football the way they've done in the past. But their passing game with 2 quarterbacks has been phenomenal this year.
Good thing it's the pesky TV people slowing down the game. I mean, what is this about, right? I mean, seriously. Correct, clear, and obvious mistakes. We are so far away from that now.
I have to get my partner to halftime here soon.
Well, Powell, regardless if this stands or not,
unbelievable effort,
has his 3rd consecutive 100-yard receiving game, and he is the 6th player in Clemson history to do that. Fans booing. Charlie Waters, Tony Horn, Rod Gardner, DeAndre Hawkins, and Sammy Watkins, the other Clemson players to have 100 yards receiving in 3 straight games. We're told originally the booth was going to let the play stand, but now they're changing their mind. Remember Steve Shaw told us before the year, the national coordinator officials, that they wanted the booth to be 2 minutes, and that's about it?
Yeah, I do. I remember.
Mm-hmm.
How was your Thanksgiving, Sean?
It was excellent. It was outstanding.
Good food?
Maybe
Thanks,
I'm still
Todd.
just a little full.
Thank
I
you,
mean,
Todd.
correct me, where am I wrong here, though? I'm speaking for America if they're still watching.
I hear you. This is brutal.
I mean, really, is this what conferences, is this what the national officiating coordinator wants from the replay process?
After further review, illegal touching, offense number 17 stepped out of bounds, came back in, was the first to touch the ball. It will be 3rd down at the 18-yard line, 3rd down.
Trevor Lawrence telling the crowd, hey, just calm down.
And Sean.
Maybe he was telling me. I don't think he can hear us from all the way down there, but among his many talents, he might also have bionic hearing.
He could be.
So that takes away a 27-yard catch. So Powell now 4 catches for 150.
Please set the game clock to 41 seconds.
If you're Pitt, you got to call a timeout after this play, right?
Trevor Lawrence is back under 300 yards. So that stat that I gave about 5 games in a row is.
I have a feeling he'll get there eventually as we approach 2 hours for the half. Rodgers taken down inbounds by Eric Hallett.
A nice play by Hallett. Now, Hallett's been interesting. He never started till this year. He started a game at corner and a game at safety.
30-second timeout.
Pitt uses their final timeout, stop the clock with 36 seconds left. Maybe try to go after the punt. I wish they had a couple more timeouts so they could keep the half going, because I think that would make you happy.
Well, I'm sort of being, as you know, trying to have some fun with the crankiness, but I do think it's situations like what we just saw that really make people have a hard time sometimes to replay. I'm kind of to the point myself where I'd just like to see it go back to the old days where there's no replay, and if they missed it, they missed it.
Yeah. And you'd be very gracious when they miss calls.
I would be extremely in the holiday spirit. You would be extremely gracious. But the bigger point, obviously, as we get toward the end of the half, is Clemson. Yeah. Dabo Swinney said when the game got canceled last week at Florida State, they knew we were fixing to hang 70 on them. They could hang 70 on Pitt here today if they wanted to, it kind of feels like.
It does feel like I think Pitt's come up with a couple plays. They've gotten to the quarterback a couple times to hang in there, but offensively, they just have had no answers for this Clemson defense. And it's obviously a team that was hungry to play and hungry to prove that, hey, we lost to a really good Notre Dame team. We were undermanned on defense. We were without our starting quarterback. but we're ready for the stretch run, and it starts today.
Spires. Pitt came after him. Spires on the ground. The crowd wanted a flag. DJ Turner, the return to midfield. Fans booing the lack of a flag. Spires can't believe it either.
Well, they called timeout in order to set up the punt rush, and they came all out. And the only question was he blocked into the punter. The reason there was no flag, yeah, I think he probably was.
Dayon Hayes, who made contact. Let's bring in Bill Lamagnier. Bill, what do you think? Was there anything there? Is that a good no call?
I saw the player next to him get contacted into him, but I didn't see contact that I deem to be take him off the hook there. So kind of understandable why they're upset with that one.
Catch by Taysir Mack. Ray Thornton right there. Pitt has no timeouts. Kessman has a huge leg. He has 12 field goals of 50 plus in his career. That's a catch, but the half is going to end. Jared Wayne down at the 30-yard line. Lawrence threw for 302 in the half and 2 touchdowns. Second most in a half ever. 38-10 Clemson at the break. We'll send you to the studio for the Capital One halftime report after this message and a word from our ABC stations. Clemson scored 31 points in the first quarter, most in the first quarter in school history. As we head to the second half, Clemson up on Pitt 38-10. Welcome back to Death Valley. Sean McDonough along with Todd Blackledge. Delighted to have you with us. A very impressive performance, particularly given that Clemson hadn't played in 3 weeks, but in some ways maybe that helps because Dabo Swinney told us the other day it's the healthiest and hungriest I've seen my team all year.
Well, they got some of their guys back on defense that were not playing against Notre Dame, and that was good to see. Offensively, they get Trevor Lawrence back. He was very sharp, throwing for over 300 yards in the first half. And I thought they did something really good, Sean. They had 23 first down plays in that first half. 16 of them were passes, and they averaged over 13 yards per pass. So they really attacked this aggressive Pitt defense on first down by throwing the football and did it very well.
The 302, second most ever passing yards in a half for Trevor Lawrence. He had 391 in the first half against Georgia Tech earlier this season. Alex Kessman kicks off for Pitt. Michael Duke's back for it. He slipped at the goal line. That didn't help his progress. He's taken down at the 20 by Justin Tallendier. Here's our Pacific Life game summary.
Well, Trevor Lawrence, we just mentioned, 302 yards, 17 of 26. He missed his first pass, but he didn't miss many after that. Cornell Powell continues to have a big year, but then it was the defense. 2 or 3 sacks, 3 interceptions, lots of pressure in that first 30 minutes on Kenny Pickett, and very impressive and dominating performance by the Tigers.
Lawrence with Etienne, the running back. And he gets dumped by Rashad Weaver, and the ball has come out, and the Panthers have it. There is a flag down.
I think there's going to be a hold on Jackson Carman blocking against Patrick Jones, but Weaver is the guy who got to the quarterback. Again, same thing. He goes all the way around the pocket and comes back to the quarterback and jars the ball loose from Trevor Lawrence.
Offense, number 79. That penalty is declined. The result of the play is a fumble recovered by Pitt. First down.
These two defensive ends now, here's the hold is going to be right here. The sack is going to be right here. These two guys, Rashad Weaver and Patrick Jones, are very difficult to deal with in one-on-one pass block situations.
They came in with 13.5 sacks, and they've created consistent pressure tonight.
I mean, so this is a defense that has given up a lot of big play, pass chunk plays down the field, but they have consistently sacked quarterbacks. Every game, they have done that consistently.
You have to get to disrupt the quarterback when you play as much man-to-man as they do. Pickett over the middle to Jared Wayne, frustrated he couldn't stay on his feet. He might have had a touchdown. 3 sacks today for Pitt. 2 for Weaver, 1 for Jones.
When they came in leading the nation, right? 40 sacks coming into the game.
Yeah, averaging 4.5 per game.
Touchdown here if they catch it.
Vincent Davis wide open in the flat, and it's a touchdown. And the Panthers trying to scratch back into this one after falling behind 31-0. In a 31-point quarter, we mentioned the highest scoring first quarter ever for Clemson. A couple of times over the years they had scored 28. But it's not their highest scoring quarter of the season. In that game we mentioned against Georgia Tech, they scored 35 points in the second quarter on their way to a 73-7 win. Kessman adds the extra point.
Go back and look at this touchdown. A little mix up in the coverage. The back's going to go out here, and one of these guys in here has to be responsible for covering that back out of the backfield. Nolan Turner, the safety, he goes back inside. Nobody comes out quickly. So a good design, good play call, and we see Pitt now take advantage of the turnover by Clemson. That's what Clemson did the first half. It all started with the sack by Rashad Weaver, working on McFadden, knocks the ball loose, and very quickly after that, Pittsburgh capitalizes. Catch by Jared Wayne, got him down inside the 10-yard line, and then the nice design play there to Vincent Davis.
The Clemson coaches are beside themselves right now, and just the last quote I heard was, "What did we tell you? What did we tell you? These guys will never stop fighting." Did you think it was going to be easy? It's interesting to see. You know, it almost felt like Clemson took their foot off the gas a little bit.
What's interesting too, he put his hand up,
catch. Yeah.
It's interesting too because one of the things they pride themselves on at Clemson is how they play the middle eight, the last 4 minutes of the first half and the first 4 minutes of the third quarter. And that's what has to be very frustrating for Dabo, is that the little lack of energy and concentration maybe here to start the third quarter.
Well, to Todd McShay's point, Dabo and the coaches feel like their team has gotten a little lethargic with the big lead, which is now 21 points. We start this possession with a run. The keeper by Lawrence, and he twisted and turned and got 9. There is a flag down.
Well, Patrick Jones was responsible for the back. He tackled Travis Etienne, and the quarterback kept it.
Offense, number 65, 10-yard penalty, first down.
That's the left guard, Matt Bockhurst, that gets called for the hold. Yeah, he actually just threw a defender down. Watch him, number 65, right here at the end of the play. Trevor Lawrence is already outside, and Bockhurst just rips a man to the ground, completely away from the play. An unnecessary penalty, and he's out of the ballgame.
Yeah, he got the hook from the angry coach. Mason Trotter has come into the game along the offensive line, playing left guard. Fake to Etienne. Lawrence pressured right away by Jones. Still got it away to Rodgers. Taken out of bounds near the 27-yard line by Phil Campbell.
A nice job getting the football out, because that was quick pressure again. And again, you see the strength of Amari Rodgers breaking the tackle of a linebacker for extra yardage.
Clemson's previous 3 possessions, punt, fumble. Little bubble screen to Rodgers again, and a good tackle in the open field by Chase Pine.
Well, before the possession started, we saw Dabo yelling at Jackson Carman, the left tackle, for the holding penalty on the possession before. This time he's getting on Bockhurst, who had the penalty on the first play of this possession.
Flag down. The offensive line still in their stances. Pass intended for E.J. Williams. Looked like Patrick Jones was moving along the line. Marquez Williams had the coverage.
Defense, number 91. 5-yard penalty, third down.
Well, Randy Bates, the defensive coordinator, has to be very pleased with the energy and the fight that his defensive unit has started this third quarter with. And you don't have to worry about Patrick Jones. I mean, of the guys that I've seen this year, I haven't seen anybody that plays with a higher motor than him. Of course, Pat Narduzzi, Randy Bates, longtime friends, share defensive philosophies, very similar. And right now, Patrick Jones has got it going on a little bit.
Coach Bates brought a blitz. Amari Rogers the catch. Cam Bright the tackle. But it's a first down.
A little surprised that they haven't tried to throw the football to Etienne on some kind of route against the linebacker.
Etienne to the 45-yard line.
I've been very impressed with how Tony Elliott, the offensive coordinator, has utilized getting Travis Etienne the ball in space. And a lot of times that means throwing him the football, little swing passes, little screens, just to get him out there. They're really not a lot different than running plays, but you just get him with all his speed out in space. And Tony's done a really nice job of being creative with number 9 this year. There it is.
With the blitz, they swing it out quickly to Etienne. First down, he gets belted out of bounds at the Pittsburgh 44 by Cam Bright. But that's another Tigers first down.
See, the difference between this play and running a toss sweep is he doesn't start with the ball behind the quarterback. He starts with it all the way outside in space.
And with a lot of momentum.
And with a lot of momentum and all that speed. I mean, those are just really smart ways to get the ball to one of your best players.
12-yard gain. Lawrence sets, throws deep for Powell and double coverage and knocked down by A.J. Woods. Eric Hallett was there as well.
It was a nice play by A.J. Woods because he didn't turn to find the ball himself, but he just read the eyes and the hands of Powell. As soon as he saw Powell put his arms up, he reached his arms up in between the receiver to get a deflection and knock the ball away. That right hand was able to knock it away at the end of the play.
There's an injured Pittsburgh Panther on the play. It's Devin Danielson, a defensive lineman. Back in a moment. You're watching college football presented by PlayStation 5. And this is the ACC on ESPN. Clemson trying to stay right on the heels of Notre Dame, hoping for a rematch in the conference championship game. They're leading this one 38-17. Lynn J. Dixon, nice move as he went past the line to make. He got a few more to the 30. First down, Clemson.
So now watch on this replay. This defensive end has got to freeze and respect Trevor Lawrence. Lawrence makes the right read, leaving it in the belly of Lynn J. Dixon, and then a nice cut at the second level. But Trevor Lawrence and his ability to run affects this defense of Pittsburgh.
Dixon still the running back. He got 13 on the previous play. Lawrence to the end zone, a diving catch by Amari Rogers. His 10th catch of the game. That's a career high. Then it's a 30-yard touchdown.
Boy, and he's working on Hamlin again.
Receiver downfield, offense.
Not a touchdown.
I think they're going to get the freshman Walker Parks, number 64 or 56, Backhorst, which would suggest maybe this is an RPO. So watch 64 and 65. If it's an RPO, they're blocking run and they're getting downfield. That's Backhorst right there, 56. Downfield, Trevor Lawrence reads it to throw.
There are two
I'm
fouls
sorry,
on the
56,
play.
Will Putnam.
Both by the offense. And eligible receiver downfield. Offense number 56. 5-yard penalty. After the play, unsportsmanlike conduct. Offense number 3. His first. We enforce that 15-yard penalty also. First down.
Well, there's 2 penalties on Clemson, but that doesn't take anything away from an incredible throw by Trevor Lawrence.
If anyone wonders why he's going to be the first overall pick, just watch that throw. I mean, the second it came out of his hand, you could tell he just layered it perfectly. The trajectory of that throw, he understands the touch, where it has to go, and how to get it there.
It looked even better from the progressive pylon.
Oh, there you go.
And the penalty on Amari Rodgers was he got up and threw the football into the brick wall in the back of the end zone. That was the unsportsmanlike penalty on Rodgers.
Now it's 1st and 30.
Play fake by Lawrence. He gets banged down, but got 9. Future #1 pick. Got a rematch perhaps with Notre Dame coming up. You want to play for another national championship, but they're not afraid to call his number on the running plays, and he doesn't want to be protected. He wants to run when the situation dictates.
And he's a good runner. I mean, he's faster than you would think because he's a long strider, but he's a very good runner, has a good feel for it. But that's what he does best. Right there.
Powell. Well, it was 1st and 30. Now it's going to be 3rd down and about 1.5 yards. Another big game for Powell. That's his 5th catch for 169.
See, that's RPO. I mean, that the line and the defense has to read counter on that. He's faking counter, but throwing a ball down to the middle of the field off of RPO. And that's how the RPO game has changed so much in college football. It always used to be just bubble screens off the fake run. Now they're doing all kind of things.
It's 8 more receiving yards than Powell had last game against Notre Dame 3 weeks ago. Lawrence tripped up. Again, a designed run for the quarterback on 3rd and 2. With the lost yardage, they'll kick the field goal.
Well, they got most of that yardage back. They called the quarterback's number again, and a blade of grass got him.
Yeah.
Jumped up and grabbed that ankle.
So here's Potter to try a 41-yarder, it appears. Made one from 46 early in the game.
What happened to that hair there? It's a little different hairstyle BJ's got this year. Competing with Trevor Lawrence.
Are you saying it went over in space to the left where you circled? Or what?
Well, no, they had a nice picture of his short hair.
Picture of the kick is wide left from 41 yards. And Dabo Sweeney's angst continues. 9:03 to go, 3rd quarter. Here are today's biggest moments of the game, brought to you by Samsung QLED TV. A.J. Williams, an early touchdown. Their first 3 touchdowns were set up by interceptions by the Clemson defense. They led 31-0 after quarter. Dabo Sweeney was a much happier man then, but the offense has gotten stagnant. Punt, fumble, and missed field goal in their last 4 possessions. And the Panthers are within 21, have momentum and the ball from their own 24 after the missed field goal. And a very long way to go. 9:08, 3rd quarter. Kenny Pickett, 17 out of 30 for 168. Jared Wayne upended as he crossed the 25.
Really nice play by Nolan Turner. I thought this play had a chance, but Nolan Turner from his safety spot read it very quickly and made the nice tackle.
That pass almost intercepted by Malcolm Green, who had one in the first half. They were trying to get it to DJ Turner.
Malcolm Green's had a really good game. He's listed as 3rd on the depth chart, but he's been in there with the starters a lot. When I talked to the coaches, they said he reminds them a lot of Dre Bly.
He was a tremendous player. Green originally committed to LSU. Came to Clemson instead. That pass off the hands of Jared Wayne. And a big 3-and-out. And you could feel a little anxiety in the crowd here as Pittsburgh took the field for that offensive series.
On to punt, number 98, Kirk
Christodoulou on 4th and 7. Aaron Rodgers back for it. Another good punt. Another fair catch at the 29-yard line. 44-yard punt. Don't miss Disney's new movie Safety, inspired by the true story of Clemson football safety Ray McElrathbey. Streaming exclusively on Disney Plus on December 11th. Travis Etienne on first down for the Tigers. Got 3 before Cam Bright took him down.
Still not a lot of running room for Travis Etienne. That's the 3rd week in a row now. He's under 50 yards, 9 carries. Pittsburgh's defense, one of the best in the country at stopping the run. They're kind of built that way.
They load up the box, try to make you throw it. Braden Galloway, tight end screen. He delivered some punishment, refused to go down. Finally went to the turf at the 35-yard line.
Well, Hamlin was there first. He couldn't get him on the ground. Then Galloway gives the shot to Cam Bright, the linebacker. And then from the inside, defensive lineman Keyshawn Camp gets the tackle. Big 3rd and 5 now.
Midway through the 3rd quarter. Clemson offense stagnant. Lawrence, is he inbounds? No. It was Galloway again with Phil Campbell there to help shove him out.
Pretty good coverage. There were actually 2 defenders in the area. Campbell again just kind of playing the receiver's hands and eyes. The foot comes down. Looks like the heel was on the white. Good strong catch.
Heck of a catch.
But when he comes down, I think the heel of his left foot is on the white.
Yes, it was. And replay saw that. It was clear, so they didn't stop it. And Will Spires' punt was a fair catch by DJ Turner at the 25-yard line. Tonight, 7 on the ESPN and the app. LSU, number 5 Texas A&M. When they last played in College Station, they played 7 overtimes. That can't happen anymore. They changed the rules because of that game. But a big one for Texas A&M, ranked number 5 tonight. Our next UFC Fight Night in Las Vegas. The main event, light heavyweights Anthony Smith and Devin Clark. Prelims start at 7 on ESPN Plus. The main card at 10 on ESPN2 in Deportes. A screen, Kenny Pickett, A.J. Davis, and here come the Panthers with more.
Yeah, one of the best plays of the night. This timed out perfectly. Kenny Pickett does a nice job eluding the pressure from Maskell, the defensive end. Just gets away from him enough to deliver the football. Then good blocking downfield. The center, Sweeney, with the last block to spring the back.
Clemson led 38-3, 8 minutes to go in the half. And the Panthers follow up a 22-yard gain with another 9-yard gain on the completion to Jordan Addison. We talked to Kenny Pickett the other day, said he wasn't very highly recruited, and we asked why, and he said, well, I was a freshman in high school. I was 5'6", 135. We're like, come on. Well, he has unbelievable.
Yeah, I mean, the football is as big as his helmet in that freshman picture. And he's a big strapping guy right now. I mean, you know, when NFL tough guys see him, you know, he's bigger than you think he might be, and he's tough.
He's going to be in the league for a long time.
Holding, offense, number 71. 10-yard penalty, 2nd down.
Bryce Hargrove, that's a big call, wipes out a first down. He is one of the 2 starters on the offensive line who have started all year. They have the 3 new starters the 2nd week without Carter Warren, their left tackle, Jake Cradle, the right guard, Gabe Hoy, the right tackle. Only Jimmy Morrissey, the center, and Hargrove are out there today among the usual offensive line starters. They were a beleaguered group in the first half. They've settled in as the game has progressed. They give Pickett plenty of time here. Only a 2-yard pickup on the completion to Jordan Addison. That was a huge penalty.
Yeah. And really then on that 2nd and long, you're just thinking, try to get half that yardage back. Mark Whipple, the offensive coordinator, try to give yourself a chance on 3rd down against this Clemson defense. Now they need protection to throw the football for this kind of yardage.
3rd and 9. Pickett across the line and down. Got only 2, needed 7 more. Taken down by Kane Patterson, the backup linebacker.
See, this is a 3-man rush with zone behind it, so Patterson is able to just stay right there and act almost as a spy on the quarterback. Kenny Pickett nowhere to go with the football, and that penalty, as you mentioned, brings up the long yardage situation, and you have to punt the football here.
First down run play, run that yielded a first down if it had stood. Kirk Christodoulou averaging more than 47 yards per punt. And just about everyone so high.
He's been impressive.
All Rodgers could do is make a fair catch. He's been impressive, and he continues to be. They start from the 11, do the Tigers. Last 7 drives, punt, touchdown, punt, punt, fumble, missed field goal, punt for Clemson. This is a big play in the game, the holding penalty.
Yeah, right there in the middle, 71, right there as the back is trying to run through the gap. You can see Hargrove, one of those veterans, with the obvious penalty and stops the momentum of a pretty good drive.
He's a 5th-year senior out of Akron, Ohio. Lawrence to Davis Allen, and the tight end ridden across the sideline by Eric Hallett.
For a long levered quarterback, Trevor Lawrence does a great job of getting out of his play fake or the mesh on the RPO and just getting the ball out quickly.
He's got good feet.
Really does.
He really has good feet, and that enables him to do that.
Well, we mentioned there's a first down run by Etienne. What are the negatives? I mean, you were first-round draft pick in the NFL. He might be the first pick in the NFL, and I've asked both Todds, maybe trying to nitpick with Trevor Lawrence, what would the NFL people have concerns about?
Personally, I don't think he has that. I mean, you know, last year there was some questions that he tried to do too much. He threw interceptions early in the year. Then he ended up finishing strong. Good pressure again by this Pitt front. But I think with him, I don't think there is a weakness. I think he checks all the boxes, at least from my standpoint. Todd, what do you think?
Yeah, you know, going back to what you were saying, he had 8 interceptions in the first 7 games. In the last 14 games, he's thrown 39 touchdowns and just 2 picks. So he's protecting the ball better. I mean, the only thing that you can say, and it's not his fault, there's not a lot of anticipation throws in the middle of the field, but when you see them on tape, he's perfectly capable of executing.
Right. And you can picture him in a more pro-style offense.
Absolutely.
He's in an RPO-oriented offense right now, but you put him in a pro-style offense with play action and deep dropbacks, and he's going to flourish.
Well, here are the draft grades over the last 3 years that you have, Todd, for quarterbacks.
Yeah, it's the highest grade that I've given to a quarterback since Andrew Luck, I think in 2012. And, you know, it just goes to show how complete his game is.
Well, I think as you saw on that play there, again, his ability as a runner and to extend plays and to scramble. Nice, another run by Lyn-J Dixon. That's the thing that impressed people about Joe Burrow last year was his running ability, his ability to make plays, you know, as a runner. And I think Trevor Lawrence has that same ability.
Yeah, if we could just get an offensive lineman to protect Joe Burrow.
Yeah.
My goodness.
360 passing. That's a 15-yard run for Lyn-J Dixon. I remember some were saying, well, Andrew Luck, you know, he doesn't really have great velocity on the deep ball. Whatever.
And I remember his pro day when he threw the ball 75 yards down the field with his last throw just to stick it to every scout who said it.
Amari Rodgers, the catch. You know, we've all done this for a long time. To me, there are very few quarterbacks that we've watched over the years where you said absolutely can't miss, not only going to be an NFL quarterback, but a great NFL quarterback. Peyton Manning certainly one.
Yeah.
To me, Andrew Luck was one of those guys. His career derailed by injuries somewhat, but Lynn J. Dixon dropped for loss. And to me, here's another one, John Elway, if you want to go back further.
Yep.
There are very few of them. Joe Burrow, to me, sort of emerged as one of those guys in one year.
It was one
Last
year.
season, yep. One season.
What I've loved about Trevor Lawrence is the progression. Like, as a freshman, we saw the talent, but he was still young. He was learning and didn't want to step on other people's toes and wasn't a leader. Second year, he comes in with a lot of hype, and he threw as we said, the 8 interceptions in the first 7 games, but kind of settled down. And then watching him this year, and even talking to him, I remember before the Wake Forest game, talking to him when he was in his car, he sat down and talked to us for about 20 minutes. The maturity, talking about social issues, talking about COVID and how he's worked and why he's back and wanting a championship and the reason that he's here playing and not opting out. You can just tell he's a pro mentally, and he's come so far in terms of maturity over the last 3 years.
Yeah. David Green, the injured player for Pitt. There's a retrospective on his career. Won the national championship, was the most valuable player of the title win against Alabama with a brilliant performance. 5th in the country in total touchdowns last year. Just the one loss in that title game last year to LSU. One more touchdown, either passing or running, it'll be 100 for his career. He'd be the 5th ACC player to reach that number. So, okay, people are watching this game. Green walks off under his own power. And we've seen for 3 years now the physical talent. But when you talk to him, exceptionally bright. He's going to graduate in 3 years. He was embarrassed to tell us his GPA because he thinks it might have slipped a little bit. He has senioritis, he told us. But his mother is pushing him back to the books. But he's going to have about a 3.5 in business marketing. High character person. Man of considerable faith. As Todd McShay said, he's developed as a leader. You know, he led the movement by players who wanted to play when it looked like they might not even have a season. The crowd thought he got face masked. There is no flag, but he runs for the first down to the 38-yard line.
Again, here's a perfect play for him. I mean, this is a toughness play. So we're talking about, you know, are there any weaknesses, any things you have questions about? Well, here's, you put a check mark by the toughness on this play. 3rd and 5. They got a nice drive going. They call quarterback draw. He breaks a couple tackles and keeps the drive alive.
And it was not a face mask. So we had a peek at a replay. He fakes the toss, throws it deeper. Beautiful play design. Braden Galloway, a touchdown. 38 yards, Clemson's first points of this second half.
Well, they really put Servassier Dennis, number 32, in a bind on this play. What a great play call by Tony Elliott and then executed by Trevor Lawrence. They fake the toss to Etienne. That freezes the linebacker. He doesn't know whether to come up on the run or to go with the tight end. That was a beautiful call.
Question is, did he step out of bounds? Looked like he might have right there. His heel, he did. His heel is clearly on the line there. From
the Progressive Pylon camp.
Thank you. Maybe McShay should start to have to pull his share of the load here with the Progressive Pylon camp.
Watch the execution
is doing
of
a
this
great
play.
job.
Watch this guy right here, number 32. He just gets put in a bind. Do I come up on Etienne on this fake? Oh, wait a minute. The tight end's going out for a pass. He's in the middle. He's caught in between. Perfect play call, perfect execution. And it's not going to be a touchdown, but it was a beautiful play by the Clemson offense.
It was DeMar Hamlin as usual.
I was just going to say, give him credit for that effort coming from the other side of the field.
Well, they had Paris Ford as his other starting safety next to him. He was preseason All-American by some, first team All-Conference.
With the ball at the 3-yard line, it'll be 1st and goal. Clock operator, please set the game clock to 1:04. 1:04.
You know, he got more attention, Paris Ford. But we talked when they still had Paris Ford, the Pitt coaches. You got the impression they weren't disparaging Ford, but you got the impression they thought Hamlin was the better of the two safeties.
Well, the frustrating part is I've got 4 defensive players from Pitt in the top 150 prospects this year. Patrick Jones, Rashad Weaver are still here. Jalen Twyman opted out before the season, and Paris Ford just did recently.
Yeah. Twyman, another defensive lineman in the middle. They sell out on the blitz, and Etienne has the touchdown. His second rushing touchdown of the game. And now they've scored for the first time in the third quarter. It's 44-17.
The presence of Trevor Lawrence and his ability to run has opened up more opportunities for Travis Etienne to run the football. Still only 56 yards, but 2 touchdowns, and it's just the presence of Lawrence that has helped open things up for Travis Etienne today.
And on that drive, Trevor Lawrence surpassed 10,000 career yards of total offense. Number 3 in Clemson history. Moved past Charlie Whitehurst today, behind only Taj Boyd and Deshaun Watson.
Just when it looked like Clemson's offense had gone stagnant, and there was a little bit of angst here with Dabo Swinney with the crowd, but they answer with a great drive. Travis Etienne and Trevor Lawrence, the 2 best players on this football team, 2 of the best in the country, leading the way. Knows how to find the end zone, that's for sure.
2 touchdowns today, both running. 76 career touchdowns from scrimmage, just past Ricky Williams. The 5th all-time. Dabo Swinney calls Etienne and Lawrence generational type players, and they really are. Not only 2 of the best of the last 4 or 5 years, 2 of the best of this generation. Really 2 of the best of all time in college football. When you look at what they have accomplished, here's Kevin Nagandi after the touchback.
Mac Jones is he still continued to play that way, but his name's kind of faded down the list a little bit in some people's minds when you're talking about Heisman. Justin Fields and Trevor Lawrence hadn't played till today, but Mac Jones.
In Vegas,
he's been
sports books had Mac Jones ahead of Trevor Lawrence. Kyle Trask also ahead of Trevor Lawrence. And Justin Fields, which is hard for me to believe, only because they've played so few games at Ohio State.
Did you guys see Kyle Pitts again today for Florida? The tight end. I mean, he is impossible to cover. He's back healthy, and Trask is a different dude when he's on the field.
Yeah. 2 carries in a row for Vincent Davis. Well, Trask has had a phenomenal year. To many, he is the front runner. But to me, it says the best player. It doesn't say who's having the best season. And there's a lot of football still to be played. If we're picking the best player, you're looking at it right there.
And the biggest games the player left.
Back after this from your ABC stations. As we head to the 4th quarter here at Clemson, let's check out this week's college football rankings, the playoff rankings, brought to you by Allstate. This was the first edition. There'll be another update on Tuesday night. Alabama #1 and is going to stay that way. Notre Dame #2 and very impressive, I thought, yesterday against North Carolina.
I thought defensively, after the second possession of the game, when they kind of figured out how to defend Sam Howell in that offense, they locked them down, and it was very, very impressive. And then Ian Book and his ability to create and to make plays and extend plays is is almost kind of magic-like watching. Very Doug Flutie-esque watching him play.
He is such a gamer.
First play of the fourth quarter and a big one for Pittsburgh. 3rd down and 2. 5-man rush after Kenny Pickett, and it's intercepted. The 4th for the Clemson defense and the 2nd for Mario Goodrich today.
Well, the pressure was picked up pretty well, but this is a mishap and a miscommunication between receiver and quarterback. The intended receiver, Taysir Mack, is going to be out to the right, and he continues to run. Pickett throws the ball thinking he's running back to the sideline. Mack just ran past the defender, and that's an easy interception because their quarterback and the wide receiver were not on the same page. Mario Goodrich just stepped right in front of the throw, but that looked like Kenny Pickett expected that route to be shorter than it was run by Taysir Mack.
He had thrown 4 interceptions all season. He's thrown 4 today. Couple it was tough to blame him for. New quarterback, DJ Uiagalelei, handed it off to Chez Malusi. Well, he stepped in when Trevor Lawrence was sidelined for 2 games against BC and Notre Dame due to COVID, and boy was he tremendous. Not only was the 439 in their last game a career high for him, it was the most ever by any quarterback against Notre Dame.
And the other thing that was impressive, Sean, they were behind in both of those games. They got behind by 18 on the road at BC, and he brought them back calmly. They were behind in South Bend, and he brought them back on the brink of victory in that one. And yeah, he was impressive. And even talking to Trevor Lawrence, we asked him about, what'd you think about DJ? And he's like, you know, I mean, he's a baller. He's a gamer. The moment was not too big for him. And, you know, he just looked right at home. And safe to say the quarterback position's in pretty good hands here at Clemson when Trevor Lawrence decides to move on.
On the draw, Malusi, big hole, 1st down inside the Pitt 30 to the 27-yard line. Judson Tallendeer and Eric Hallett made the tackle. So you wonder if that's the end of the day for both Etienne and Lawrence.
I would think so.
Should be.
Yep, I would think so.
What is almost certainly the final home game for each. Malusi runs out of bounds inside the 20. Trevor Lawrence today 26 for 37. If it is his last home game, he threw for 403 yards and 2 touchdowns. That is 1 yard shy of his career high, which he set back on October 17th at Georgia Tech. 2 touchdowns, no interceptions today. Uiagalelei throws incomplete. Intended for Cornell Powell and broken up by Jason Pinnock.
Trevor just made it look so easy too. Like it wasn't a hard job today. You know, he knows where to go with the ball. He's so comfortable with the offense. He does such a great job with the mesh and the RPO and getting the ball out quickly, and as Todd alluded to, with his quick feet for a tall guy. He's got it going.
Well, and he's just seen so much. You know, you're not going to fool him. You know, you hope maybe you get him to pull the ball down because he doesn't see the coverage right away, or you disguise something, but it just so few times does that happen. And then he does have the ability, when he does pull it down, to make plays as a runner, as we saw today as well.
And he's so grateful for the experience that he had here.
Yep.
You know, they first became aware of him when he was in the 9th grade, like a lot of other college programs around the country, but said he really grew here as a person. Obviously got engaged, be married while he was here. He talked at length to us the other day about the development of his faith. DJ, incomplete.
I think he also felt, I thought it was really interesting that he said, you know, being here at Clemson allowed me and helped me to become comfortable with who I am and who I want to be, you know, and it really helped him grow into that. And just as Todd alluded to earlier, the difference between talking to him as a freshman and then a sophomore and then this year, the maturity and the confidence and just the demeanor that he has is very, very noticeable.
They call DJ Big Cinco. I think we're going to go along with that.
I like that nickname.
Easier on broadcasters. He is big. 6'4", 250. Shovel pass and nowhere to go for Chez Malusi. Trevor Lawrence with those 2 touchdown passes, 99 career touchdowns responsible for either rushing or throwing. He'll get 100 before he's done. They have at least one more regular season game next week at Virginia Tech. When he gets to 100, he'll join Taj Boyd, Lamar Jackson, Phillip Rivers, and Deshaun Watson as the only ACC players to do that. Cornell Powell. Coaches have so much admiration for him. You know, most guys wouldn't wait till they were a fifth-year senior to play with his talent.
That's right.
They transfer somewhere else. Not him. He's being rewarded as a featured player in his final year here.
Out of Greenville, North Carolina, played high school football at J.H. Rose High School, and it's just so rewarding and so fun for us to see a guy in their last year have this happen, you know, and play at such a high level.
3 straight 100-yard games, 176 today for Powell, and that's a touchdown. Big Cinco to Malusi. On 4th down, they forego the field goal, and it's a 9-yard touchdown.
Well, Servassier Dennis is going to get picked. He's in coverage. That's his man. But as he tries to go across the formation, watch Powell just kind of get in his way. He gets in his way enough to create separation, and Big Cinco is able to get him the football. We're allowed to call him that, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love it.
And the play design was to pass the Servassier, as we said we had Pitt earlier this year. Extra point good. Back in Clemson, South Carolina, DJ Turner back for the kickoff. They're even going to give BT Potter, the kickoff man, the rest of the day off, it seems. Here's Aiden Swanson, left-footed redshirt freshman out of Tampa.
Kick his ass.
Turner. Out of bounds. And touchbacks are indeed a good thing. Potter at 8 touchbacks. Let's take a look at today's Pacific Life game summary.
Well, 400 yards passing by Trevor Lawrence. Travis Etienne, not huge numbers, but definitely a factor in the football game. And 10 catches, a career high for Amari Rodgers, who continues to kind of lead the way with this somewhat depleted wide receiving core of Clemson. And you wonder, you know, they're going to get some of those guys back possibly before this year ends, before they get into the ACC championship game and the playoff potentially.
Kenny Pickett, what a battler he is. Held on to the ball a long time, hoping he could find somebody. He did not. And Reagan Upshaw was the man who took him down.
Well, what tremendous pressure. He didn't get the sack, but Jordan Williams, number 59, I mean, just really creating havoc and forcing the issue in the backfield. Rotating guys in.
5 sacks for Clemson today. A.J. Davis, nice run. Got the sack yardage back and about 4 more.
If you're a Clemson fan, you have to be really excited about the depth that you've seen on the defense tonight. I mean, guys like Malcolm Green, a true freshman, coming in and having the big plays and interception. Tyler Davis coming back, number 13, just a wrecking machine in the middle of the defensive line.
Pickett
Yeah, they got all three of those guys back. They've got, Tyler Davis back. They got James Skalski back. They got Mike Jones back. Critical players in this defense. They do play a lot. They do try to keep guys fresh, but you want your frontline guys out there when the game is on the line.
They'll punt on 4th down and 6. Will Sweeney is back deep. He's a senior, but he's already said he's coming back next year, so he did not run down the hill. Hopefully he was a big help to his dad on Wednesday night putting up the Christmas lights. Dabo said that is an annual tradition in the Sweeney household. The Christmas lights go up on Thanksgiving Eve. Will's brother Drew probably couldn't help. He broke his collarbone in practice earlier this week. 42-yard punt.
College football on ABC is presented by PlayStation 5. Play has no limits. In part by Pacific Life, more than 150 years strong. Trust in your tomorrow. And Duluth Trading Company, tough and genius workwear designed and tested by tradesmen.
Final home game for Trevor Lawrence, and another outstanding performance. 32-1 now as a starting quarterback. Tied for the most wins in Clemson history as a starting QB with Rodney Williams, Taj Boyd, and Deshaun Watson. Will Sweeney swung down. There is a flag. Damar Hamlin and Sweeney just shake hands. Sweeney wasn't bothered by it. The crowd didn't like it.
Neither did the officiating crew. I just like how this kid fights, Hamlin. I mean, he's a Pittsburgh Central Catholic kid. Same high school as Dan Marino, Sal Sinceri. A lot of big-time players have come through that school. A little WWE action there.
There's no foul for personal foul. Second down.
Yeah, I think Will Sweeney might have contributed to them picking up the flag when he went over and shook his hands.
It's a
like,
nice
hey, there's
play,
nothing
man.
wrong with that.
Yeah. It's 52-17. He's a senior. He's one of your best players, one of the best players in the country at his position, and he's out there just still scrapping. I love to see that.
As we mentioned, he's one of the unheralded players in college football, and our Molly McGrath talked to Damar Hamlin earlier in the week. He told Molly that his mom was just 16 when he was born. His dad was 18. They worked hard, sacrificed everything to be successful. Now both parents own their own businesses. Nina, a daycare company. Dad Mario, a cleaning business, and just started a trucking company. And they go to every game, and here they are today. He has a 5-year-old brother, Demir. Much of his life he was an only child. He wanted a sibling, and now he says his little brother is his whole world. And the coaches cannot say enough nice things. We talked to Randy Bates, the defensive coordinator. He talked at length about Hamlin as a player and as a person. 5th-year senior, his 40th career start.
And he can play at the next level, too, because of his coverage ability. He shows his physicality, and he's a cover. He can cover as a safety.
And you know what he can do early in his career is getting acclimated, go cover kicks.
Oh, yeah, he'll be a great special teams guy. Yep.
He has 10 tackles today. Spires the punt. 49 yards. Fair catch made by DJ Turner. 8:17 to go on senior night.
We really just want to say, go Tigers!
COVID replacement game. That is the year 2020.
Oh, gosh. It cannot end soon enough. Kenny Pickett swung down, tried to step up into the pocket, but did not escape.
Levante Bentley, a backup guy down the depth chart, is going to be able to get in here. Comes right up the middle and just keeps fighting. Beats the starting left guard, Bryce Hargrove. Those are fresh legs on some of those defenders right now.
Second sack of the year for the redshirt freshman Levante Bentley. Back to the screen game. DJ Turner tried to deliver a stiff arm to Tyler Venables. And there is a flag thrown on the play.
Personal foul, targeting, defense, number 38. The previous play is under further review.
Another deep down the depth chart, Elijah Turner, listed as third string safety, grad student from Pickens, South Carolina. There's the stiff arm. And we'll find out if that's targeting.
Their position. The College Football Playoff Top 25 Ranking Show, Tuesday at 7 on ESPN, presented by Allstate.
We'll have the exclusive reveal of the College Football Playoff Top 25 rankings. Second week. After they reviewed it, no targeting. Elijah Turner still out there. Bill Lamagnier agrees with that decision. Three-man rush for Clemson. Kenny Pickett on 3rd and 13. Has fought valiantly all night. He was over the line of scrimmage, retreated and threw it, and that's going to bring a flag. Trenton Simpson was in hot pursuit. I think as valiantly and as tough as he's been today, as valiantly as he's fought, he should be allowed to cross the line of scrimmage and throw.
Illegal forward pass. Offense, number 8. 5-yard penalty. Loss of down. 4th down.
Yeah, it's been a tough day for him, that's for sure. I mean, he's battled, he's competed, he's led, but they got in a hole early. They had the turnovers early. Clemson capitalized on him and just could never quite get out of the hole.
Kirk Christodoulou on the punt.
Clemson has looked like a fresh football team, a team that hadn't played for a few weeks and was still smarting from the last time out, losing a football game, and they got that taste out of their mouth.
Well, right on cue, here's the Allstate playoff predictor. Now, these were our picks, what we think it should line up as we head toward the next show on Tuesday night. You and McShay like Alabama #1. I after yesterday, Notre Dame moved from 2 to 1 in my book.
Well, you know, you could make an argument either way, for sure.
I think their defense is a little more dependable. Now I think Alabama's offense is more explosive. But
I would agree with that.
I think they have the better resume right now as well.
The tough one for me is when you get beyond 4. Florida and A&M. Because I think Florida's a better team than A&M, but they lost to A&M.
Yeah, I mean, A&M beat them, and A&M's only loss was to Alabama.
Right.
You know, and then, you know, Sean and I both have Cincinnati in there, even though they were off today, and that might end up hurting them on the next ranking on Tuesday. But
you guys
think
really
they're
think
a really good football team.
I think they're a really good team too. You think that they would beat Florida or Texas
I think
A&M?
they deserve. My point is, Todd, I think they deserve a shot to play a team like that. That's what I think. I think they're capable in a one-off game to play with anybody.
Kobe Pace, the ball carrier there, as they go even deeper down the depth chart. But I don't know. You know, he wants to question our selection of Cincinnati's #5. How could you have Florida ahead of Texas A&M?
Well, he just said he thinks they're a better team.
Texas, well, they lost.
Maybe that must not matter to him.
Of course it matters. Of course it matters.
You just think they're trending, playing better now.
But watching them since that game, Florida, I think, is getting better. Texas A&M, I think, has had some ups and downs.
Yeah.
I think Florida is the 5th best team in all of college football. Cincinnati's a great team. I'd love to see the Cincinnati-BYU matchup that there was talk about, but apparently that it's not likely to happen.
Yeah.
Well, Kevin Nagandi talking about, COVID. What was the expression used? COVID games thrown together.
COVID replacement game.
COVID replacement
game.
They're like arranged marriages on the fly here.
Right.
Why not expand it? It's too late, but expand it to 8 was what we've been saying.
I've always been a proponent of 8, and I think the non-Power 5, the P5, as Luke Fickell calls it, should be guaranteed a spot.
Yep.
I mean, you put Cincinnati, UCF
They've
a couple
earned
years
it.
ago, whoever it is, give them a chance.
Yep.
This would have been a perfect year to do it, really. Everything else going on. Uyunglele upended. Shad Weaver fighting all the way to the finish.
I mean, we played the NBA in a bubble. We played, 60-something games in baseball and adjusted the amount of teams in the playoffs there. Why can't we adjust it here?
Because they didn't want to. They could have. That's the issue. I think they very easily could have. There would have been some logistical things to work through, certainly. I just don't think they wanted to.
Yeah. But the frustrating part is
right.
it's not apples to apples this year. I mean,
right. That's right.
Different conferences are playing different numbers of games.
That's exactly right.
So it would provide an opportunity to really see who the best teams are.
And if they expanded it, it would help them with potential problems like, what if Ohio State only plays 5 games?
Right. That's right.
Okay, yeah, they only played 5, but we think they're one of the best 4 teams, 8 teams. They're in. We'll take Cincinnati. From what I understand, Todd McShay, Cincinnati and BYU were trying to talk about arranging a game, but now with all the COVID issues popping up all over the place, plus it's quite possible Cincinnati's going to play Tulsa twice.
Yeah.
They're in the top 25 this week. They have a regular season meeting. They could play them again in the conference championship game in the American.
And it's not like in the first college football rankings, Cincinnati was 6 and BYU was 7. I mean, BYU was 14 in the first ranking. So, I mean, how much benefit would there be for Cincinnati? I mean, to somebody like us, we would
Cincinnati
say we'd like
9,
to see
is that right?
Yeah, it's just too big of a disparity to really risk it, I think, in that game at this point.
It was Aiden Swanson who punted. Just his 3rd punt of the season. So the Big Ten remains a jumble. Northwestern has lost to Michigan State. First loss of the year after a 5-0 beginning.
Yeah. And then Wisconsin is not eligible, right, for the Big Ten championship game.
Not enough games played. Ohio State is 1 game away, one more cancellation away from that. New quarterback for Pittsburgh is Joey Yellen, who started the 2 games that Pickett missed due to injury when he had ankle surgery. Joey started at Miami against Notre Dame. Redshirt freshman from Mission Viejo, California. There's a flag on his first play.
Illegal formation, offense, 5 men in the backfield. Half the distance to the goal, first down.
Yellen played 1 season at Arizona State and transferred here in January to Pittsburgh. Had a tough go of it in those 2 starts, particularly against Notre Dame. That outstanding defense. A 45-3 Irish win from the end zone. He throws it away as he was running out of time.
Yeah, I actually thought that he did a lot of good things in the loss to Miami. They gave up some plays defensively. As you take a look at Kenny Pickett's numbers for the day, rough night for him against this aggressive Clemson defense. But I thought Joey Yellen against Miami showed a lot of promise, but then the Notre Dame defense is just about there. They're as good as any I've seen this year. I mean, if not the best. And they really made it tough for him.
Daniel Carter, the ball carrier. Keith McGuire made the tackle. I believe there have now been 52 different Clemson players who've made a tackle in this game. Yellen in that game at Miami, October 17th, he threw for 277, and that was the most by a Pitt quarterback in his starting debut since John Turman back in 1999, threw 316 against Penn State. John Vardzell, his first catch of the day and his first catch of the season. Former walk-on back in his home state. He's from Charleston, South Carolina. Mark Whipple taking advantage of the teaching moment. Or the opportunity to let off a little steam.
Clemson, their first 30-second timeout.
Now, what do we think is the point of this?
Well, it was fun to see Trevor Lawrence come back to college football. He hadn't played since October 24th. Some people wonder, would he be rusty? Not really. He missed his first pass of the game, then was pretty on point the rest of the day. This touchdown to E.J. Williams, the little flea flicker that really fooled the Pitt defense, got him out of position. The big payoff play there to Powell, who had another huge game. And Trevor just did a little bit of everything. This was such a beautiful design. Faked the toss to Etienne. Short side of the field, hit the tight end. And Trevor Lawrence, again, beautiful day for him. 26 of 37, 403 yards, 2 touchdowns. Now 32-1 as a starting quarterback.
Christodoulou, another punt. And a fair catch by Will Brown back there to handle the punt. They're getting everybody involved in the action. We talked earlier, 3 weeks since they played. The game wiped out at the last minute last week in Tallahassee. They were eager to play, healthy and hungry, as Coach Sweeney said. They still haven't made a decision about whether they're going to make up that game. And that'll be interesting to see what transpires. I think if you're Clemson, as much as they would probably like the opportunity to hammer them with all the angst of this week, I don't know if it makes sense to try to replay that one.
I don't either. I mean, because first of all, you're looking at, you play Virginia Tech, and let's say you win that, you guarantee yourself a spot in the championship game with a rematch against Notre Dame on the 19th. Why not take that extra week and get ready for that game? You know, you don't need another game against Florida State.
Hunter Helms, walk-on quarterback, freshman, is in there. They got J.C. Chalk, the fifth-year senior tight end, to catch. I get the feeling that Dabo's on the headset. They're almost trying to figure out, well, who else can we get in the game, especially players who might be playing in their final home game. Helms, threw that one into a crowd. Intended for J.C. Chalk. Here's Kevin Nagandi.
That'll bring up 3rd and 6.
Because of the numbers issues for Wisconsin, that Northwestern still in good shape in the West. Now, that would have been huge. Would have given Wisconsin a much better chance to win the Big Ten West. They were going to need help, and they got some from Michigan State today. Dabo Swinney having some fun over there. I think he's just trying to figure out who else can we put in the game.
He's having a lot more fun than he was about the first 4 minutes of the third quarter. He was not a happy man the way his team came out of the locker room and started the third quarter. But they kind of got that turned around, and now it's let's just get as many of the guys in as we can.
Josh Jackson gets a hand slap. He's nowhere near our depth chart. Zach Kirkpatrick's on our spot. There's a block punt. They have the backup punter Swanson in there. But Zach is frantically grabbing at flip cards and writing names onto our chart. And we have about 6 deep for Clemson because they always play so many people. Dabo almost calling people in from the crowd here. Who else wants to play? None of those guys in there made much of an effort to stop the rush. And it's a deflected punt.
Well, put me in, Coach. The cheerleaders are leaving. The band's getting ready to walk out, so we're getting there.
I think it was John Morgan who deflected the punt. Yep, cheerleaders have done their job. We thought McShay was kidding, but he was not.
I never kid.
That's Davis Bevel.
So now Davis Bevel gets his shot at quarterback. And he's on target. Whoa!
Boy.
Whoa, 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 whoa. That's the Anthony Williams, who laid out Kai Wright, one of their tight ends.
And a good clean hit, too. Led with the shoulder.
Southern hospitality right there.
And Wright got up as he got close to the sideline, went back down. Redshirt freshman, tight end with his third catch of the year, and he got walloped by Lee Anthony Williams. Good clean hit. And Williams back on his feet. Not hard to figure how that might have stung a little bit. So Bevel, redshirt freshman, back very close to home. He's from just up the road in Greenville, South Carolina. One of 4 natives of South Carolina to play here today. That's an incomplete pass. Incomplete pass. Fred Davis apparently doesn't hear the whistles or just wants to live out the dream, but they're going to bring it back.
Ruling on the field is an incomplete pass. Second down.
It sure looked like it bounced off the ground. Low throw.
And it did.
It bounced.
Intended for John Vardzell. He's another of those from South Carolina. Charleston, one of the 4 Pitt players from this state. He went to high school in North Allegheny in the Pittsburgh area.
That's where my sister and brother-in-law went to high school, North Allegheny.
NA.
Great school.
Outstanding football teams over the years. Great football in Western PA. Daniel Carter, the ball's out, and it's a scoop and perhaps a chance to score for Kane Patterson. They're trying to run him down, and it is a touchdown, or is it? Officials conferring. I think they're going to mark him down to the 1-yard line. He thinks he scored. Sophomore from Brentwood, Tennessee. Levante Bentley knocked the ball loose.
Kane Patterson has played more snaps than he probably expected today because Jake Venables, who had been the starting middle linebacker, did not play at all today. They got Skowski back.
Yeah, he was down.
A knee down before he got the ball to the pylon. And of course, we have to see it from the progressive pylon cam.
Of course we do.
Confirm it.
McShay, would you like to just say progressive pylon cam?
Progressive pylon cam.
Excellent. Well, they have the extra point team out there, but I don't think they realized the ball was spotted at the 1, and it's the correct spot. Knee clearly down.
Sideline warning. Clemson. First and goal. Clemson.
Who are they going to let run the touchdown here? Sean, who do you think?
They have a manager. He's down. I'm going to say this loud enough for the replay booth next door to here. He's definitely down. I think they see that. It's also been an uneventful second half with replay and officiating. Well, how about the walk-on quarterback, Hunter Helms?
Is that Darian Rencher in the backfield?
Yeah, that's why he's out there for sure. You are a smart man. Team leader.
5th-year senior.
Yep.
Particularly during the off season.
From Anderson, South Carolina, right down the road.
Look at you.
Great hotels.
You were on a roll there for a minute. Rencher stopped. They're telling him to line up quickly. The sideline wants them, but I think they want to give Rencher another chance.
Get him in.
5th-year senior, wasn't highly recruited from right down the road, even though his dad was a track star here in the 80s. The serious knee injuries in high school. Oh boy, he's not going to get there now.
Servassier Dennis, one of the leaders in the country in tackles for loss. was in the backfield to stop Rencher.
Well, they tried to give him a couple of chances.
Yeah.
Disappointing that for him that he didn't score, but this is the right thing to do with a lead of this size. Don't hurry to run another play. So Clemson goes to 8-1. They extend their school record, 28 straight home wins. Final score is 52-17. We'll send you to Seattle for Utah and Washington after these messages.